Now, here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
Well, good morning. Happy start to the Monday. Happy start to the week. Mike Lefko in with you. Have Mike, Brock coming. Morris here. Lyle's here.
Hello.
Good morning. Lyle, how's it going?
It's good. What about you?
Yeah? Well, this headset is kind of teetering between working and not working, so that was a fun discovery to start this morning. But no, it's good, I think. I mean, curious to get your opinion. At 7, we'll get his thoughts. Brady Henderson will join us at 8:30, and then we will get some trade deadline perspective from the Diamondbacks side, and maybe also some Cardinals preview from our guy Gambo, who I know Salk loves having on. So Brock and Salk have him on a good amount from our sister station at Arizona Sports. He'll join us at 9:30. But I want to know what you two think. I want to know what you guys think. 866-979-3776. It was a series win over the Astros, but it's a very conflicted feeling. It's almost that hollow victory after the way they lost yesterday. And with the swing potential of what yesterday represented, you sweep the Astros, the division lead goes down to 2 games. They lost, it's back up to 4. So that massive boomerang represented just a frustrating, tantalizing potential. But I also think, all right, maybe am I looking at this too negatively? Because they did win a series over the Astros. That's all you can ask for, I guess, to some extent. Outside of the sweep, which was there for the taking, it didn't happen. But they didn't lose the series. So they come out of the All-Star break. They get that series win. You put yourself in position to claw 1 game off of that lead, but it feels like a huge missed opportunity. So I don't know. Am I being too pessimistic, too negative to start the morning, or is there legitimate reason to be concerned about the opportunity that they missed?
Oh, I think it's fair. No, I don't think it's fair. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
I think it is fair what you're saying because I walked away fairly frustrated yesterday, and I feel like I have to preface all this with saying, yeah, I understand they won 2 of 3, and it was a good series. It's out in the middle of July. It's a lot different than 4.
Maura, your thoughts?
I don't know. I think a sweep is hard to expect, especially in a division series. And I was pretty happy with those first 2 games.
Yeah, I know.
But I understand the stakes
it's the
are high
timing
right
of it,
now.
too. You win the
Yeah.
first 2, and you allow yourself to set those expectations. And Lyle, I think you have more of a pessimistic, just way out of line here, the fact that they won a series over the Astros. But yes, if they would have got it down to 2, it's almost like that's the body blow. And the Astros are teetering. They're about to fall. They're staggering around the ring, about to get knocked out, and you have them within reach. You can finish them. And now 4 just seems like it's so difficult to overcome because of how long it took the Mariners to even get back to this position, where in the midst of all their series wins down the stretch of that first half, the Astros would always win. Or if the Astros would get swept, the Mariners would get swept. So not until that final series, 4-3, here you are. The circumstances also kind of dictated that frustration. And we'll see as the texts come in here, 866-979-3776. The Mariners just played, or are you happy that the Mariners beat the Astros? So we're going to weigh in on that today. But with Brian Wu on the mound, who has been your best and most consistent pitcher all season, and after the Mariners got out to a 3-0 lead, knocked Hunter Brown out of the game. No one has done that this year. No one's knocked Hunter Brown out of the game before the 5th inning. The Mariners did. It was there for the taking, and it also was just kind of painful. There was guys like Taylor Trammell, who was the all good guy team here in Seattle. He was great. He was a lot of fun, but he never stuck. And rightfully so. It's not like the Mariners got rid of a good player and saw him go to the Astros. He could never really crack that everyday starting lineup. So it's almost more frustrating than that this battered and bruised Astros team, 16 players on the IL, that they pop in Taylor Trammell and another former brief Mariner, and to think, the Astros just always find a way. So here they are sitting 4 games up. We'll talk about this in a little bit too. They have this strange scenario now for the Mariners where the Astros are going to the Diamondbacks for 3. So if the Diamondbacks keep winning, they might not be sellers anymore, which could hurt you because there are some pretty key names that you could potentially get. But you don't want the Astros to win because then the division gets further out of reach, especially with the Brewers coming to town. This feels like a massively important series because of how quickly things can swing and how difficult it has been to just claw back in this division race. So 1, even 2 losses over these next 3 games. If the Astros win the series down in Arizona, then all of a sudden there's another game that you lost. And you have to get down to the stretch where that Astros series means everything at the very end of the year, all the way at the end of September. And it's just, it's the good and bad of, yes, we're going and focusing on the negative of not really making up significant ground in the division. The Mariners did kind of consolidate their wild card spot. So I was just kind of going back and forth. I just could not decide, all right, am I just letting the negative outweigh the good from this series? And we'll dive into all that went well and around the weekend. But the tantalizing potential was just there, and it just kind of escaped. And it was a beautiful Sunday, right? You were out there, Lyle. The sun came out towards the end. You filmed your little recap out in the stands. I mean, everything was going well until the game.
I was going to say, I don't know if my recap exactly expressed that everything's going well.
Well, the mood was there. The setting was good, and then it didn't end well.
Yeah.
So when you're sitting there and it's 3-0 on a beautiful Sunday, and the Astros are about to get swept because Hunter Brown had a short outing, and Brian Wu looked dominant in that 4th and 5th inning. He was rolling through the Astros those first times through. He had that, 5-pitch inning, gets out of it after they scored their early runs. So all seemed well. And then only the sun being out was the good news after it all came to an end.
And this is the year to catch the Astros, man. I mean, you just look at last year compared to this year, and it's so easy to go through that roster. You say, Tucker gone, Bregman gone, Blanco's been out, Javier's been out, Altuve doesn't look the same. Now they lose Paredes. I mean, you look at that Astros lineup on, yeah, this feels like the year you should be able to go get that division, and they had such a chance to really make up significant ground on Sunday.
Maybe we can spin it back to the lineup looking like it still needs help, and maybe reinforcing that, yes, the lineup still needs help, because you could kind of stir up an argument. And Wyman told me last week that some of his friends were even saying, well, I hope that this front office doesn't get complacent and see the 35 runs they put up against the team. No, they're good. This lineup's good to go. I don't think you have to worry about that after this series, where you did have to scrape out that extra inning win on Saturday. And then in this game, the offense goes silent after those 3 runs. It just kind of sticks in your craw, too, that 11 unanswered. And some of those were when the game was out of reach, sure. But to have a 3-0 lead, then to have it disappear and it's 3-3, and then it's 5-3, and then it's a little further. So it was just a slow, kind of painful end to the series to cap off what felt like it could be a really fulfilling weekend.
And even when the Astros tied it up, the Mariners got Caleb Ort for an inning and 2/3, which, for as good as Houston's bullpen is, that's one of their weak spots. And man, Caleb Ort looked like he just buzzsawed right through him. And after that is when it kind of got out of hand.
Yeah. So, all right, we got a little bit of a balance. There is some good that we can dive into a little bit more. But I think the overwhelming sentiment is a missed opportunity. Not outright frustration, because, yes, it's a series win, but regret and a yearning, an aching for what could have been in that series, because now it's a massive test for the Mariners. We'll get into that a little bit more in Need to Know, and we go around the weekend. But the Brewers are coming to town. They've won 10 straight. They have a pitcher that is captivating baseball who will be on the mound on Tuesday. So massively important series. Going to be tough starting tonight against the Brewers. We'll get to all of that and everything you need to know. Mike Lefko here with you on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
MLB Network insider John Morosi every week with Wyman and Bob.
Can they do enough at the trade deadline?
They don't have to necessarily be in first place by the end of July, but you need to show the front office that this team is worth adding to. But they need to show you more from guys who are not named Cal Raleigh. I'd be paying very close attention. Emerson, Young, Celestin, to see who potentially could be the one that they move.
See the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
You're listening to Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. This hour is brought to you by Fred Meyer Pharmacy, with a special message for Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense plan members. Your neighborhood Fred Meyer Pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at fredmeyer.com/pay or update. See your Fred Meyer Pharmacy for details.
Ooh, ma.
What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Whether you're building a single roof or a successful roofing business, roofing contractors like you need the right tools for the job, and software is no exception. Service Titan is on a mission to be the most powerful software platform for the trades, with purpose-built technology proven to maximize revenue, streamline operations, and deliver 5-star customer experiences. We are taking roofing companies like yours to the next level and beyond. Service Titan, we are built for this. See what we can do for roofers at servicetitan.com.
If something happens to you, what happens to your family? Will they struggle financially? Will they be able to afford the home you built together? With Ethos, you can get life insurance coverage in minutes. Get up to $2 million in coverage for as little as $2 a day. All online with no medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Rates may vary. Build monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male. The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
You know your roof needs work, and maybe you've seen your neighbors already getting theirs done. What's stopping you? Money? Timing? Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. We understand. That's why we're offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 12 months, or up to $3,000 off your roof replacement. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
This is Steve Ahmed, president of Pacific Power Batteries. We know that customers like to buy from nice people who we generally like and trust. We don't consciously buy from a corporation, a jingle, or a logo, but it's the little things, like knowing about batteries, how they work, and why they don't work. Maybe it's just a smile from Noe, or Brandon, or Jennifer, or even Travis. At Pacific Power Batteries, we do our best to hire and train good people so you can trust them. So come on in and put us to the test.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Mariners begin a series tonight against the Brewers, who roll in on a 10-game win streak. Yes, they have been hot. They are tied with the Cubs atop the NL Central. Mariners sit 4 games back of the Astros in the AL West, tied with Boston, that second and third wild card between those two teams. Just a game and a half, though, up on the Rays for that final wild card spot. Brian Wu, yesterday, he started well, had a tough end to his outing, and afterwards he broke down what he saw from his outing.
Same stuff, just got ahead, some good counts, executed. Walked the first guy. And leave a 2-strike slider over the middle to Cam. And then, just got to stay in the ballgame after that. Can't, 6th inning, can't let those two score. Got to keep it a tie game. So, a lot of things that I didn't do well.
Wu does get through those 6 innings, but tough start coming out of the All-Star break. Gives up 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, and the 2 home runs as the Astros go on to win 11-3. So on to this week, and it's a series starting tonight against the Brewers that features some great pitching matchups. George Kirby and Brandon Woodruff go tonight. It's a 6:40 first pitch. Then on Tuesday, Jacob Misiorowski, the Brewers' rookie right-hander, he has just captivated the baseball world. 5 starts, got named to the All-Star game, throws in triple digits. He's just everyone's been fascinated every time he has pitched. He will get the start for the Brewers, and then it's Logan Gilbert for the Mariners on Tuesday night. The series ends with Luis Castillo and Quinn Priester on Wednesday. That's a 12:40 first pitch. 6:40 tonight, 6:40 tomorrow, 12:40 on Wednesday. There's also a strange dynamic to watch this week when it comes to wild card versus the division race, because the Astros start a series in Arizona tonight against the Diamondbacks, who have won 4 straight, and there's some thought that, the Arizona Diamondbacks might not be sellers as people think they could be. Eugenio Suarez, after the game yesterday when they won, he said that they're going to force their ownership into thinking that they're contenders. They're going to try to play their way back into this playoff race. So if the Diamondbacks keep winning, then a likely trade piece, maybe not on the market, but if the Diamondbacks keep winning and they win the series or sweep the Astros, that division well back within reach. So just a curiosity to watch this week as well. When the Mariners take on the Brewers, the Astros are down in Arizona taking on the Diamondbacks. Now, some positive news on the injury front for the Mariners. Bryce Miller threw a 25-pitch up and down live BP on Saturday, and he said he expects to go out on a rehab assignment within the next few days. So something to watch there as this Mariners rotation tries to get back to full strength.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
The Seahawks released Noah Fant yesterday, moving on from his $13.1 million cap hit, which would have been, as crazy as this is to think, that would have been the second highest cap hit on the team this season, behind just Leonard Williams and slightly above Sam Darnold. You get rid of Geno Smith and DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. It was Noah Fant who had the second highest cap hit on the team. Seahawks do eat some dead cap, but save $8.9 million with the release. Now, it also coincides with the news from the end of last week about Elijah Arroyo signing his contract and getting a large chunk of it guaranteed. So the entire draft class will be on the field when training camp begins in 2 days. In talking about the tight ends and how they might shake out, Daniel Jeremiah on this show, on with Brock and Salk, shortly after the draft, kind of clarified his comparison from Elijah Arroyo to Noah Fant, but he compared him to Fant in a good way.
But a motivated Noah
so not
Fant.
really like Noah Fant.
Talent-wise, movement-wise, he looks like Noah Fant. Noah Fant could really, really run. So this happens all the time, by the way, during the draft, is that you see comps go to teams where you had them, compared. But he's someone, he just hasn't been healthy.
Yeah, it makes for an interesting tight end room with A.J. Barner, all of just 1 year under his belt as the only returning player. So add in Elijah Arroyo, then Eric Saubert, who they signed in free agency, and then you have undrafted rookie Nick Callerup, and potentially some combination of Robbie Oots and Brady Russell, who fill out that tight end room. We have Brock's thoughts on this when he joins us coming up shortly, and then Brady Henderson will come on with us at 8:30, so he'll give us a good perspective of the tight end situation and everything else you need to know heading into the start of Seahawks training camp, which does begin on Wednesday.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Well, Scottie Scheffler's domination over the golf world continued with a 4-shot victory at the British Open. But after the win, he quickly wanted to put a stop to any Tiger Woods comparison.
I still think they're a bit silly. You know, Tiger won, 15 majors? It's my fourth. Just got 1/4 of the way there. So I think Tiger stands alone in the game of golf. You know, he was inspirational for me growing up, and he was a very, very talented guy, and he was a special person to be able to be as good as he was at the game of golf. And I don't focus on that kind of stuff. That's not what motivates me. I'm not motivated by winning championships, and I don't look at the beginning of the year and just say, hey, I want to win X amount of tournaments, I want to win whatever it is. I don't do that. I have dreams and aspirations that I think about, but at the end of the day, you know, when I wake up and to practice, you know, I feel like what motivates me is just getting out and, you know, getting to live out my dream.
He has been hot over the last 2 seasons. Second major this year for Scheffler and the 4th of his career. Now just needs a U.S. Open to complete the career Grand Slam. So the Grand Slam's in the book for this season, but all eyes, or at least in the golf world, all eyes turn to the Ryder Cup on the final weekend of September. Back on U.S. soil, it's at Bethpage Black at the end of September this year. The U.S. looking to bounce back from that 2023 defeat on European soil. A couple other notes from around the baseball world. Last night, Tarek Skubal struck out 11. The Tigers won 2-1 over the Rangers. That tailspin from the Mariners series kind of continued. They had lost 6 in a row, including the first 2 games of that Texas series. Detroit wins, though. They get to 60 wins, the first team in MLB to get to 60 wins this season and snap that 6-game losing streak. And then if you're in wild card watch, which the Mariners, you know, the division's still within reach, so focusing on the Astros and that 4-game deficit. But in the wild card, the Rays are really the team that's kind of looming. They're that first team out. They're a game and a half back of both Boston and Seattle right now. They took 2 of 3 from the Orioles to remain right there in that spot. Doesn't look like it's going to be much help from the Rays, at least this week. You never know, but they're hosting the White Sox for 3. So you kind of look around and you think, okay, well, the Mariners have to play the Brewers. They're the hottest team in baseball right now. The Astros are going to play the Diamondbacks, and then the Rays host the White Sox. So it could be kind of a shift here. What a strange situation we had with the Red Sox winning those 10 games, and it looked like, okay, well, this would be the unnecessary push down for the Mariners, but the Red Sox did so well, they knocked the Rays out of contention. So it's a constantly evolving mix here, and yeah, as some people have pointed out, maybe we are being too negative. It's only 4 games, but also 4 games with 63 left and some tough series. Not as easy as it seems, because it's not just what you're doing, it's what everyone else around you is doing as well. And we've already seen the difficulty of trying to chase and catch Houston when the Astros wouldn't lose, when the Mariners were winning, or vice versa. So, yes, 63 games, maybe a world of difference after the trade deadline, but right now that does loom large with the Brewers coming to town. Still, you have series against the Phillies and the Mets, and it's a tough schedule. It's a tough second-half schedule for the Mariners. That is everything you need to know. We'll get back to the good that happened, and a lot of fun on Friday night, especially coming out of that All-Star break. I will say this. The undeniable good is that for the last 3 seasons, the Mariners had lost their first series out of the All-Star break. So good that changed. I was kind of tracking that because it did always seem like, at least in 2023 and this year, the All-Star break came at the worst time. The Mariners were hot. Julio was hot over those Tigers series, and then, you know, he tailed off a little bit. Or in 2023 when they were hot into the break and then lost the Tigers. And in 2022 where they had that massive win streak and then got swept by the Astros. So great to see the Mariners did win their first series out of the All-Star break, and they took 2 of 3 from Houston. We will dive into that and everything you might have missed from a busy sports weekend. We will catch up on all of it. Coming up next here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ann, who broke her leg in a trip and fall accident.
I had broken my femur and I was in horrific pain. We chose Iddens because they had a good reputation. I wasn't just a name, I was a person, and that makes a big difference. I'm just grateful that we had the settlement for my care. I'm very pleased.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Upgrade your view and comfort with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Buy one window or door, get the second at 50% off through July, and enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. For details, visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Seahawks training camp, powered by Boeing, is back at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center, July 23rd through August 12th. Take in stunning lakeside views, grab autographs from your favorite players, and let the kids join in on pre-practice football drills and more. Register now at Seahawks.com/training camp.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text CASH to 231231. CASH to 231231. CASH to 231231.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Is your car road trip ready? Don't get stranded. Get to Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. Bucky's has been preparing cars, trucks, and SUVs for safe, worry-free travel for over 50 years. We take care of your car with experience and good old-fashioned customer service. For all your oil changes, brakes, AC charging, and factory maintenance, choose Bucky's. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Visit Bucky's.com. Bucky's, where your car feels right at home.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
DayandNight.net.
The old throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
DayandNight.net.
Slow drains, backed up toilet, is your main drain or sewer clogged? Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Over the past 70 years, I think we've seen every drain clog out there. If your pipes aren't draining from a small fix to a major repair, our sewer and camera inspection will show exactly where the problem is. I promise you, our experienced technicians will find the issue, the right solution, and do it at a fair price. Give us a call or visit DayandNight.net. I guarantee whether Day and Night is your first choice or your smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
If you have a drain that's slow or clogged, call Day and Night. Now you'll save $50 off any drain cleaning. Slow or clogged drains? You know where to go.
dayandnight.net.
What does it take to get justice for a man paralyzed after a cycling accident? Thousands of documents reviewed, hundreds of thousands of dollars paid for experts and investigations, and over 6 years of hard-fought litigation fighting all the way to the Washington State Supreme Court. Because when King County said he deserved nothing, we proved he deserved better. $10 million better.
Everything that could be done was being done to help us.
Chris did a great job. Call David's Law Group today at 206-888-8888.
Do you find yourself searching the medicine cabinet for pills and sprays during allergy season? How about having to buy one more medication when the season hits? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We offer a solution that will save you time, money, and frustration. Ryanair is a simple, minimally invasive procedure that significantly reduces postnasal drip and stuffiness. We're taking new patients in Federal Way and in Auburn. Come see us. Book your appointment at sternsinus.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
Well, quite a weekend, and it was good to get baseball back. I don't know about you guys, but it just felt like that All-Star break, in a sense, was ridiculously long. And it was only a couple of days. You had the All-Star game, and then you just had 2 days. But it did feel like when you're used to every single night without baseball, or with baseball, to not have it for 2 full nights, and then all the way to Friday night felt like a long time. So it was good to be back. And Maura, I know there was a lot that happened over this weekend with this Mariners series. Why don't you take us through everything going on, starting with Friday?
Yeah, we have a couple other sports stories, but we'll mostly dig into the Mariners series. So starting on Friday, Luis Castillo went 6 2/3 scoreless innings, giving up just 3 hits, 2 walks, and striking out 7. Randy Arozarena got the scoring started in the 4th with this solo shot.
That ball scorched, left field deep, way back, gone, way gone, up against the scoreboard, above the bullpen. Randy Arozarena, 10 homers in his last 14 games, 18th on the season.
He's so hot right now.
He is so hot right now. And then, of course, we come on and we say this, and he went 0 for 4 yesterday, but okay, that's going to happen. Yeah, that surge, that's incredible. It's very fun to see, and I think, that's what everyone's been wanting, that big piece behind Cal Raleigh. You have that lineup protection a little bit more when you have Randy Arozarena in there. You can see, and especially as we get through this game and we kind of go through the rest of what happened on Friday, you can see where this lineup has some expanded depth. If someone like Cole Young is starting to figure it out, if Randy Arozarena, not to say he's going to hit 10 home runs in every 15-game stretch going forward, but if he chimes in with a few home runs every series, adding on to what J.P. Crawford's done at the top of the order, there's just a little more depth that's coming to light now for the Mariners. Before all that, I do want to say, Friday featured some very funny moments. Because
you were over at the ballpark.
Yeah, so we did our show there, Wyman and Bob, on Fridays for Mariners home games. And I guess it was University of Oregon night, which we didn't know at the time, but at around 5:30, fans start to come into Edgar's, and one guy just walks up, doesn't say anything, walks right in front of our set, holds up the O, looks at us, and then walks a little bit further down into Edgar's, and we're just like, what? Okay, we don't really care. I don't think Dave or Bob watched like more than 2 college football games last year. So know your audience there. But Oregon fans, strange little bunch. And then they also, so I was doing some things and walking around the ballpark a little bit and heard this massive boo and this extended concerted booing for, a good 20, 30 seconds. I had no idea what was going on. Finally looked up and saw, oh, they're showing all the Oregon fans. It's Oregon night. So that was pretty funny because I figured it had to be something Astros related. No, it was just all the Oregon fans and then everyone from here booing them. So that was pretty funny. And then on the other side of that, what was really cool, also had no idea what was going on. A little bit before the game started, maybe 15, 20 minutes before the game, there's just this massive roar and a huge cheer, big ovation. It was for Cal Raleigh walking out to the bullpen to start warming up with Luis Castillo.
Wow.
I had no idea what everyone was cheering about. Figured someone had jumped onto the field and was running around. No, it was just the love and appreciation for Cal Raleigh on Friday, and the crowd was great every time.
So.
Every time he came up, every time Raleigh came up, it just huge ovation, big applause. They chanted MVP at times for him all weekend. So that was cool to see before the game even went on. And then I know we have more from what was a very good game.
Nice. Yeah. Continuing on from that, Mitch Garver added a 420-foot solo shot of his own in the 7th for a 2-0 lead. Matt Brash issued a walk and a double to start the 8th, and that brought the Astros within 1 run. But he was able to get out of that inning without any more damage, and the M's offense got to work in the bottom of the inning. The young guys got things started with Cole Young drawing a walk and Ben Williamson advancing him on a sac bunt, which I'm sure Lyle loved.
Lyle, did you love it?
Absolutely not. And there was a certain bunt on Saturday. And there's a certain bunt on Saturday that I'm going to wait to get to.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, this
Did
one
you
worked
almost
out.
just jump out of your seat and just, when that happened?
A little bit.
Okay. All right.
But again, it doesn't even hold a candle to Saturday.
Okay, we'll get to it. Crawford
There's a
and
good teaser. I can't wait for that.
Crawford and Raleigh hit singles. Julio and Randy walked, and Solano hit a sac fly. Cal scored on a wild pitch, so that allowed the Mariners to put 4 more runs on the board. And Edward Bizardo went 3 up, 3 down in the 9th for the Mariners' 6-1 win. After the game, Dan Wilson talked a little bit about Salk's favorite term, playing a little bit of small ball.
We talked about it in Detroit where, the biggest ballpark in the league and we hit a lot of home runs, but, you can't always expect that that's going to happen, and you've got to be able to score in other ways. And tonight, to your point, they were, putting up good at-bats. We get the 3-1 run, but then, a walk, couple of stolen bases where, we forced another walk. And then, a sac fly there from Solano, which I thought was a great read by Julio, and then a wild pitch. You just put the pressure on the defense, and that's what happens. And when you're able to score like that, also along with the home runs, that's when you're going to be in a good spot. And it was really good to see that tonight.
You kind of got a little bit of both tonight.
I really enjoyed that it was Hector Neris who blew that game in the 8th inning. He's a very unlikable person, especially after some rumors of what happened with Julio at the end of the 2023 season.
Yeah.
So
a little bit of a villain.
He's definitely a villain, and that's kind of what you need in a rivalry. You need some legitimate hatred, and I think there is. There is frustration and hatred that we'll get into on the Saturday game between the Mariners and the Astros, and certainly the fan bases. Now, I did bring this on myself by tagging the Astros on Twitter, but when that happened, I said, oh no, Neris blew it again, and used the Jerry Seinfeld, that's a shame meme. So, yeah, anytime he does struggle against the Mariners, kind of appreciate that because of that 2023 season and then everything that happened after that. But good to see them add on, which has been the issue at times. Little score early runs and some of the losses this season. You put up a 2-0 lead or 3-0 lead like on Sunday and don't score again, but to have 4 runs in the 8th and really break the game open and not have to use Munoz, because as good as he
Wilson
is,
was saying, sometimes they get those home runs, but that's all they get.
Right.
But they were able to chip away and get runners on base.
I feel like there were a lot of wins this year, especially in that one Tigers game or a couple of those games toward the end of the first half where it was just all home runs that led to their runs. But yes, good to see the small ball, like you were saying.
Get some traffic. Saturday was a wild one, guys. Are we ready to go through all this? Logan Evans went 6 innings, giving up just 2 runs while walking 3 and striking out 5. The Mariners got a run on the board in the 2nd when Lance McCullers walked 3 batters and hit 1. Houston tied it up in the 3rd with an RBI single from Cam Smith. But the Mariners came right back in the bottom of the inning with a Raley single and Canzone double, driving in 3 runs for a 4-1 lead. A Christian Walker single in the 5th pulled Houston within 2, and then Carlos Vargas really struggled in the 6th, hitting 2 batters, which prompted a warning to be issued, and then giving up a single before Gabe Spire took over. He ended up giving up another 2 runs, and the Astros took the lead 5-4. Randy Arozarena tied it up in the 5th and hit a double, and then scored on a wild pitch.
Here's the pitch. In the dirt, it gets away. Here comes Arozarena. He is going to score, and this game is tied. The wild pitch. 5-5 the score. Arozarena alert. Races home. And the Mariners have tied it up against Abreu.
So to extra innings we go. Matt Brash gave up a run via a Taylor Trammell sac fly in the 10th, but got himself out of a bases-loaded situation with a Cam Smith strikeout. In the 10th, Dylan Moore appeared to be hit in the wrist by a pitch, but the umpire ruled that it went off the bat knob there, and the ball was in play, so Cal Raleigh runs home and ties the game. The Astros did challenge that call and lost. What did you think as you were watching it live?
It was very weird. I mean, he reacted like he got hit.
Yes.
But I think afterwards he said...
It kind of looked like it hit both.
It was just the... You're right. I'm sure it still stings when a ball comes in and hits the bat that your hand's on, and it kind of hit that recoil, hits back on it. So it did work out in that situation. Heads up base running from Cal Raleigh. But, if he had been hit by the pitch, that run likely does not score because Canzone struck out afterwards. So good thing that it wasn't ruled a hit by a pitch there, and great heads-up play by Cal Raleigh. I mean, that saved the game, essentially. So, all right, can we get to the sack bunt?
What on earth were they doing?
I was just
in the
waiting.
10th inning?
He's like, can I go? No. Can I go? Sack bunt. Let me yell about it.
Go ahead, Leo.
Yeah.
These are just the numbers. Jorge Polanco in the month of July has a 10.04 OPS. Dylan Moore since May 1st by WRC Plus is the 9th worst hitter in baseball. I mean, anytime you can take the bat out of one of your best hitters' hands to hand it over to that guy, you just have to do it. You just have to drop down a bunt to pave way to the guy with the 9th worst offensive stretch in baseball over the last 2.5 months.
What if it was big brain thinking, though, knowing Dylan Moore would find a way to get on base like he almost did, which maybe that was the plan. Like, Dylan, just go get hit by a pitch. No, it didn't work out. And you're right, because then yesterday, Polanco comes through with 2 strikes and 2 outs in the inning, drives in a couple, so he has been very good. But, yeah, that's you got Lyle going more.
I'm glad they won. Glad they won, but really not a good process. And to be honest, Polo might have bunted on his own there. I don't know if it was him or if it was the coaching staff, but whoever called for that, no.
I see why you don't need coffee in the morning, which that's so impressive, too. But just get riled up over sack bunts, you don't need coffee.
If you bring up certain topics.
What else gets you going like that?
It was the idea of trading for Acuna.
Okay.
You can put
These
Kyle
are
Tucker.
like the two.
You can put Kyle Tucker in that same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still gonna? What did you say you would do? You promised to climb mailbox if Kyle Tucker came here.
Yeah.
Have you done it?
Will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You've done it before.
Oh no, I hate hiking.
Oh.
This is like my sacrifice.
I climbed it. I climbed the original old routes. It's very tough. You're gonna have a terrible time. So now I really do hope Kyle Tucker
Especially
comes
if you
here.
hate hiking.
It's never gonna happen.
Hate
but
hiking.
All right.
Never say never.
Do you want to reassess? Like, is there another player that you kind of want to tailor this back towards?
No, it's got to be him.
Okay. I mean, we can reassess this in the offseason and see, but all right. I like that. So
this is like my sacrifice to the baseball gods if they have it happen.
That's the one literal hill you'll die on. So, all right. Good to know there. So, yeah, we got Lyle riled up, but you're right, a win there. Anything else from Saturday, or no? Are we on to Sunday?
Give Edward Bizzardo his props. Went 3 up, 3 down for the second straight night in the 10th inning. And then we can give Cole Young a little love for his second walk-off this season.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, ripped, right field line. That is the ball game. It is over in the 11th. Cole Young, the hero, walk it off. Mariners beat the Astros 7-6. They do it in 11 innings. And this place is going wild. The long, winding, twisting road. It is victory at the end of it for the Mariners.
I love what Cole Young's doing. He had the catch, too, earlier in the game. That great running over-the-shoulder catch out in shallow right field. 7-game hit streak right now for Young. Really starting to look like he belongs. So it's been very enjoyable to see. There was all that excitement. Remember all the excitement when he came up that first weekend against the Twins, and he had the walk-off fielder's choice, then went into a big slump after. It was like 1 for 19, and now you're just seeing that consistency. You're starting to really get behind the fact. I think you can get behind the fact that Cole Young is one of your starting middle infielders. Looks like you're starting second baseman for the good future. Like, you have had so much trouble finding stability at second base, and Cole Young is that guy. It's a lot to get excited about.
He's had a really good month. Honestly, a really good month and a half.
Those home runs are starting to come. So, wow, everything is happening. His power is getting there as well. It's been great to watch Cole Young. So young, too. So that's what's very encouraging. So that was Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. All good.
I went to the
all good on
Rainiers
Saturday.
game and got home, and I was like, wow, the Mariners game's still on. Like, I get to see the end of this.
Yeah, one of those, extra inning games they never seem to play, right? Never go to 11 innings. Are they still? I'll look. I think at one point they had played the most 11-plus inning games this year. Not the most extra inning games, but the most extra inning games that had gone beyond 10 innings.
Yeah.
So I think that is still the case.
Seems right.
Yeah.
All right, yesterday, it got ugly, so we won't go too deep into it. The Mariners got off to a 3-0 lead, and Brian Wu was cruising until things got a little bumpy in the fifth. Taylor Trammell scored on a fielding error by J.P. Crawford, and a Cam Smith double drove in 2 more runs to tie the game. 3-3. Wu gave up 2 solo shots in the 6th, and then things just got more out of hand from there. Mariners lose 11-3, but take the series.
I like Cam Smith, which is tough to say, but he's a really good player. He has come on strong for them. That was a very big trade they made to get him, and they did take that risk shipping out Kyle Tucker. But to get back to Saturday, now this just made me realize it again. Yeah, when Paredes goes out, you're like, okay, not that you root for an injury, but the Astros so banged up, 16 players on the IL, no Jeremy Pena, no Paredes for essentially a game and a half. He went out very early on Saturday. So that's why I think getting back to kind of what we said to start the show, we'll talk about it with Brock. For those that are saying, wow, we're overreacting and, 4 games is nothing, sure. But the Astros have the potential to get much healthier than the Mariners do. That's why you'd hope the Mariners add, because this is their team right now. They're healthy, which is good. Luke Raley is back, and all these other guys that had dealt with injuries, save for Victor Robles, who tough to see him making an impact this year if he does come back. The Mariners are what they are. We are seeing them healthy. The Astros are going to get a lot of these guys back. The Yordan Alvarez injury is strange. He's been out with what have been vague descriptions of various hand injuries, but he's been out for 66, 67 games. So if he does come back and have an impact, that's one key difference. Jeremy Pena, he was playing really well before he got hurt. Paredes, he's been great at home for them, and the Mariners are going to go play the Astros at home at the end of the year, so they're going to get pieces back. I think that's why we're kind of highlighting the fact that this is going to be a much different-looking Astros team. We'll see what the Mariners team looks like when they go there at the end of September. But, yeah, Sunday, we can gloss over that.
Well, and I also sent you guys some sound last night from MLB Network where Alex Avila picked the Mariners as his surprise second-half team. He thought with Kirby and Gilbert healthy now, their rotation can get to where we've seen it in past years, and then the offense is better, so they're dangerous. But Al Leiter picked the Rangers. So, yeah, you'd think this division
he might be biased,
could only get tougher. Possibly.
Yeah.
That could be it.
Okay. The division's going to be interesting. The Rangers are not out of it. We keep talking like, all right, it's just the Rays and that's about it. But the Rangers are sitting there 3.5 games out. So, yeah, if 4 games is manageable to make up for the Mariners when it comes to the Astros, certainly 3.5 where the Rangers are is doable. I never know what to really make of the Angels because they're pesky, and the Mariners are going to go there coming up at the end of this week, and they always seem to struggle in Anaheim. So the Angels are only 4 games back as well. That has the annoying potential to kind of be a thing for them, but then they always stumble down the stretch. So the Angels are there, the Rangers 3.5 out of the final wildcard spot, and the Rays 1.5 games out of that final wildcard spot. And then the Mariners and Red Sox, they are literally tied, right? They split the season series, and they're tied right now. So you'll have to get into the nuance of extended tiebreakers if that stays the same down the stretch. But as we sit here about to hit, 100 games on the season, the Mariners 53-46 tied for that second wildcard.
This AL is so strange this year.
It's very strange. Very winnable this year.
All right. Over in the WNBA, they had their All-Star game this weekend on Saturday with Nafisha Collier's team defeating Caitlin Clark's team 151-131. Storm Guard, there was a lot of Storm players that were they were representing well in this game. So Storm Guard Skylar Diggins making her 7th All-Star appearance, had the first triple-double in WNBA All-Star game history with 11 points, 11 rebounds, and 15 assists for the winning team. Storm forward Nneka Ogwumike was 7 for 8 with 16 points and added 7 rebounds. And then Storm forward Gabby Williams, who played for Caitlin Clark's team, scored 16 points and had 5 assists. I don't know if you saw this, but in pregame, the players wore shirts with the slogan, "Pay us what you owe us." It's kind of become controversial online, which I don't really understand why people care that they want to be paid. The league has expanded a ton. They just added 3 new teams. Mm-hmm. They're bringing in a lot more revenue, and the players union are trying to work out a new deal right now. And with that growth, they're wanting more of a profit share as opposed to the fixed percentage that they've been getting. You know, most of these players have to go play in Europe in the offseason to make a living. So I hope they do get the crowd was chanting along with them when they gave out the MVP trophy, like pay them. So we'll see how it goes, but I think they deserve it.
Yeah, the WNBA was woefully behind when it came to just what you think are basic amenities for a professional athlete. There was that big fervor around the lack of charter flights. Just last year, I think they finally now are chartering.
And in the
for
early
every
days,
team.
you understood it because they were still growing and they probably weren't bringing in a lot of revenue. But that has changed a lot.
Can you think about a pro team now, though? You know, back in the day, sure, I know that the air travel was different, teams were different. They didn't have this multi-million-dollar industry that all pro sports are now. But to think of a pro team now, just walking through the airport or dealing with a flight delay, why is tip time delayed? Well, an entire basketball team had their flight canceled and they can't get here. So, sorry, we're going to have to move the game today. Good for the WNBA because this is the time to kind of maximize your leverage. They have seen that unprecedented growth headlined by this new wave of stars. Caitlin Clark, obviously, is this massive draw. And then everyone, you'd hope the players come together and realize we can all benefit from this because if our league starts to get more eyeballs and starts to become a very profitable entity, they're going to want a cut of that.
Yeah.
And that's always the back and forth between labor
seen this happen
and owners.
Between the players' unions and the leagues in tons of male-dominated sports, and people don't usually seem to. I don't get the vitriol that's going towards the women from some people for doing this.
Yeah, I mean, baseball hurtling towards that, unfortunately. The end of the CBA, the end of the 2026 season, and we have heard all this about the worry about a lockout dragging into the 2027 season and the uncertainty that's after 2026.
If you don't fight with these leagues and owners, you won't get your worth. Like, they don't want to just give out money. That's not how they became millionaires and billionaires.
Well,
I mean, these things have to be done.
Well, we were talking about the kind of convoluted NFLPA situation and Lloyd Howell resigning and then J.C. Treader resigning and all the animosity behind that. And kind of buried in a very long Jonathan Jones piece who had this profile with J.C. Treader, Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports. There was a paragraph in there that said among the significant accomplishments of Treader's tenure was the NFLPA report cards that we all talk about now. I mean, that's a big deal, and that comes out, and the accountability and the public perception of these teams. The way it was phrased in there, he made it sound like the NFL owners absolutely hated that. He said the almost public shaming and embarrassment of teams now having to better their facilities because of these grades. It was like, give them what they need because they're there every day.
Yeah. And wasn't it Jets owner Woody Johnson who, no surprise, the Jets are kind of a laughable franchise. He was trying to basically make excuses for that and say that they don't have problems there and that I think he basically called it fake news.
Yeah.
like the players didn't vote on everything involved in that.
No, so it's right. You're right. It's an interesting battle, and we're already seeing the impact of that around the NFL where a lot of organizations have remedied issues when they come up or things that maybe just an oversight. You have a facility and you don't realize, all right, this needs updating, or new arms races around the leagues where, like the Vikings built a brand new facility. And if you're a team that's had yours, like the Seahawks for a while, you might not even know, all right, well, this is what state-of-the-art equipment is. So I think we saw Byron Murphy post a long sweeping series of Instagram videos showing off their new training room. Looks incredible. Looks top of the line right now.
Those are the kind of things that free agents will consider. You've always heard that the Bengals are cheap and you have to pay for spare T-shirts and socks and stuff there. And when you have that, or you have a team that's, giving you everything you need and they have brand new facilities, you're going to weigh that in your decision.
Yeah. All right. So that was around the weekend. Yeah, a lot of baseball and a lot of baseball we can still get into. We didn't even talk about Scotty Scheffler's win that I know Brock.
You got to that and need to know. I was going to bring it up again. If
Brock wants to highlight one specific part of his press conference, and it's not what you think. Really, it's a strange part of Scotty Scheffler's win that we'll talk about with Brock and much more because Seahawks training camp begins in a couple of days. The Mariners have a huge series coming up against the Brewers. We'll weigh in on all of that coming up over the next few hours here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we don't just promise to get the job done, we back it up. No travel charge, no show-up fee, no overinflated pricing, and no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional each and every day. O'Neill Plumbing.
The biggest scuba sale in America starts Thursday at Underwater Sports in North Seattle. Incredible savings for 3 days only. Divers Fair only happens once each year at Underwater Sports, 107th and Aurora Avenue North.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
What's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Disappointing offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with Orchard. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale and helping you sell on the market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then once you're all settled in, your Orchard agent helps sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one Orchard customer said. I never could have sold without Orchard. I made way more than I expected, and it couldn't have been easier. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Give me a freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to accuse you of management.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello!
Oh, we're back. We are so back. Mike Lefko and Brock Ewert with you.
So bad.
There's just pure joy on your face right now.
Mike Mora, Lyle, and Brock. The Macho Quattro. Mike Mora, Lyle, and Brock. Maybe it's Lefko, not Salk, but that's okay. It's still a Mike.
You just
The
lump Mora
MMLB?
in with the Macho Quattro?
Quattro, the Macho Quattro. That's what we.
Okay.
That's what we are in the morning.
Really?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Sure. Good morning, Michael. How are you, dude?
Good morning. I mean, we're trying to figure out how we are, Brock.
Yeah,
trying to
are
not be overly negative after a Mariners series
rough
win.
Game,
Over
sure.
the- yeah.
One couple rough innings. What a series win. What a glorious
Really?
weekend.
Okay,
What a
so you're
t-shirt
excited.
wearing. What a t-shirt you're wearing.
Yeah.
That t-shirt reminiscent of the great Julie Heward when she was on the Sonic dance team, when I was going to games with Uncle Damon, just hanging out, watching Sean Kemp and Det and Hershey and all the boys do their thing. So, yeah, man, you just got me going with that t-shirt more than anything else.
Well,
Yes.
one day it'll actually be for them coming back, but that
Yeah.
day gets, who knows,
Gets pushed back.
indefinitely
It's just
pushed
gonna
back. But you
So you're
hope.
letting
You
those
keep hope alive.
You're letting those last 3 or 4 innings, which were brutal. There's no question about it. They were brutal. You're letting that impact Friday night, coming back after the All-Star break, finding a way to just get on top of the Astros. And then Saturday night had to be, wasn't Saturday like one of the epic wins of the season with kind of the magnitude of it? Knowing you're only going to have, at that point, 4 more games with Houston, knowing it was the swing game between winning the series with Wu and their ace the next day, like, man, find a way to win that game. And all the flukiness, all the craziness, all the wonkiness, and then cold-blooded at the end of that sucker. Yeah, I'm not letting the last 3-4s, as much of a bummer as they were, I'm not letting that impact my mood. Can't. Won't.
Okay.
Nuh-uh.
Wow.
Uh-uh.
I did not expect this positive energy from you. I'm bringing the negative energy, but we will balance each other out here. It's more
Well,
of a
also understand
it's a
that I was-
short-term,
I was-
long-term, I guess.
Also understand I was coaching football all day yesterday. It's 15 hours of
that
football.
makes sense.
So I
Okay.
was following that. We did have a break. I did follow those. I did watch those innings. I was a little bummed, but man, I had so much testosterone flowing through my body yesterday, so much growth hormone flowing through my body yesterday, Lefko, that I just can't let those mistakes and those
Did you say
innings weigh
15
down the
hours
weekend.
of football?
Oh, 15 hours
Is
of
this
football.
7-on-7?
And then today is going to be another 12 hours by the time I get up there. It's fully padded, brother. This is 8 high school teams. This is full gear. This is sweat, snot bubbles, pancakes. This is all of it. Let's go.
So high school practice has started already.
No, this is
No.
a team camp. Up
Oh,
at
okay.
this is a team camp.
Yeah, you try to
about
skirt the
7 other
rules,
schools.
I guess. Is this
No,
one of
no,
those
no.
like mandatory, non-mandatory things where they have to be
Padded,
there? Yeah.
padded, let's go. So this is for you at short-term, long-term. Speak to me. What do you mean?
Yeah, well, short term, obviously, it's great. And Saturday, you mentioned it. That was a really great series win. Fun to have a walk-off to beat the Astros like that. But then after you lose that momentum by having the boomerang of it could have been 2, where the Astros are definitively toppled. They're teetering. They're wobbling around the ring. That's the analogy I made this morning. You know, a boxer. They're about to get knocked out. It's there for the taking. And then they get up and they stabilize, and you can't knock them out, and the lead stays at 4. It could have been 2. Knowing what's ahead, and just that's probably the most injured the Astros are going to be at any point this season, and you could not lay that finishing blow when you knocked out Hunter Brown. So it was all building to that. It's not like the Astros came out right away and just with that desperation, scored 3 runs early and then never looked back. No, the Mariners were up 3-0. And when you're up 3-0 with Brian Wu, I feel like that's a game that should win. So maybe greedy, but it's shifting expectations, right? Like, Brock, at the start of the series, yes, series win is what you wanted. But after 2 wins and Brian Wu on the mound with 3-0 lead and Hunter Brown out of the game after 4 innings, then you get greedy and you want that sweep.
Sure. That's the beauty of this game, right? You can kind of spin those numbers and certainly spin your emotion that way. And I can't really disagree with any of it other than when that series started, it could have been 8 the wrong way, right? Or 7, right? You were down 4 going into the series. So you could have come out of this thing down 7 games, right? And then you too would have been wobbling after the All-Star break, after Cal, all of that. But no, man, win, put yourself in a position to win. And a little disappointed you can't finish, but I think it's also realization. There's a reason that Houston was like 20 games over 500, right? There's a reason that lineup is done some damage, especially over the last month and a half. And oh, by the way, the crew coming in tonight has been the most damaging offense and defense and team in all of baseball. Winners of 10 in a row, these Brewers are, and 6 of those 10 against the Dodgers. So kind of, I guess, as well, the reality that, man, you're not going to – it's hard to sweep good teams. And if you just win series, you just kind of chip away, you find a way to win this series against Milwaukee, who's won 10 in a row, you just kind of continue to build for what's looming, and we all know what's looming 10 days from now.
Well, then I'll feel a lot better. I think it's because the Brewers were looming. That it was like, oh, okay, well, you're probably going to drop 1 game. And it's going to be a tough series to win. So you can make it up. You bank that game. It's why the Tigers sweep felt so good. You got it all back after that Yankees sweep. You knew that there were going to be some losses down the stretch, but to get 3 against the Tigers felt great. So Milwaukee, we'll talk. We're here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll talk Wednesday morning. If the Mariners have won the first 2, I'll be feeling great. I'll be all your testosterone flowing through me. I'll get some HGH to get on your level. But right now, there's just that unease because it is unrelenting. 17 games in a row here coming out of the break, and you start to see, all right, well, can Cal Raleigh hold up? You're going to ask a lot of him down the stretch. Is someone else going to fall off? Is Brian Wu, who has never pitched the amount of innings that you expect him to this year, what's he going to be like down the stretch? Now, Brock, all right, I'll get on your positivity.
Yes.
George Kirby and Logan Gilbert coming out of the break right now. So Kirby with some extended rest, Logan Gilbert with some extended rest today and tomorrow. I am very excited to see what these two look like, still kind of getting back to form after their injury. So, the positivity of what this rotation could be is what I'm looking forward to these next few days.
And the positivity of knocking a couple of those Astros guys out of that game, which, again, you can look at as a positive or it could bite you a little bit, right? You knock McCullers out of that game, something you didn't do earlier in the year in Houston. You knock that guy out of the game yesterday that's just been a thorn for you over the last couple seasons, and you have a 3-0 lead. So I totally get it. And you kind of throw it away yourself, right? You kind of gave Houston some of that momentum, but you do have to, over the course of a marathon of a baseball season, and even in the midst of these little sprints, these little stages, if we use the Tour de France analogy, this little stage, this has been a hell of a stage. Coming into the All-Star break, the momentum of the All-Star break, coming out of the All-Star break, what was there, 41,000 there Friday night, over 30,000 both yesterday and Sunday, still booing the heck out of that little Altuve. And then here we go, man, good on good. Right? So same thing in this little padded camp we're doing. There's good on good. A couple teams just can't match up with us, and you know that. A lot smaller schools. And then you get the good team that hates you. And it's like, here we go. It's going to be good on good. Iron sharpens iron, and let's see what's comes out of this.
Brock, you'll like this. So on Friday, it was University of Oregon night.
Apparently.
I heard. Yeah, you heard the boos, huh? Yeah, those sustained boos. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. And there were also, Oregon fans seem a little strange. I mean, you probably know this, but I told Maura and Lyle that we were out there for the show, and one of them just walks in front of us, doesn't say anything, just holds up the O sign.
Sure.
And we're like, you're doing that to Dave and Bob, who don't even watch college football. Like it's lost on them. Like, come on, man. We're here to watch baseball. So yeah, that was a strange group. They got booed wholeheartedly, which was pretty entertaining. And then on the other side of that, I was telling them that the cheers for Cal Raleigh throughout the night, every time he would walk out onto the field, were incredible. It's great to see
awesome.
The crowd come to life and support Cal like that.
Hey, a number one way I know you'll get on a paddleboard, you'll get the good juices flowing, you'll get the positive brain chemistry, you'll get the sweat, you get the heart rate up. What is the number one way that Mike Lefko can boost his testosterone? Do you know the number one way you can do it, actually?
I'm not sure I want to answer this. This
I'll
seems
tell
like
you
it's
that,
going to be a
Nick.
bad answer.
That'll be the fourth need to know. That'll be the fourth need to know, all right?
Is this radio appropriate?
Totally radio appropriate.
Okay, all right, radio appropriate. We'll see. All right, so yeah, a lot of need to know coming up, and an additional one, I guess, from Brock when we return here. Mike Lefko and Brock with you here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
MLB Network insider John Morosi every week with Wyman and Bob.
Can they do enough at the trade deadline?
They don't have to necessarily be in first place by the end of July. But you need to show the front office that this team is worth adding to. But they need to show you more from guys who are not named Cal Raleigh. I'd be paying very close attention. Emerson, Young, Celestin, to see who potentially could be the one that they move.
See the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Hey, on this Monday morning, are you asking yourself, golly, am I paying the lowest rates for my insurance? Am I getting the proper insurance coverage for the needs of my family? Well, it costs you nothing, absolutely nothing, to take the First Mark Insurance Challenge and go find out. You know, Molly and I, we heard so many of these First Mark Challenge victories over the years that save people money. We decided, why don't we do this? Totally free anyway. And boy, am I glad we did. Not only has First Mark saved us thousands of dollars on our premiums, I know exactly what I've got covered. Here's how they do it. They fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage. Then, well, unlike you and me, my parents, so many of my friends that have taken the challenge, they go to the market. Dozens of major carriers they've got relationship with to find you the best fit. That is it. No stress, no confusion. Think of it this way. They're your teammate. And they spent the last 3 decades helping thousands of families successfully manage the complicated world of insurance. So please don't wait a day longer. Take the First Mark Challenge. It's totally free, and you might be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. It's all right there. Firstmarkinsurance.com. Your teammate that goes to work for you.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Summer is the perfect time for a new roof. Take advantage of our easy financing, summer specials, and the best warranty in the business. Have a great summer. See you next hockey season. Trust Techline.
I'm Rusty George. My local marketing agency specializes in helping companies in the building and manufacturing industries develop the right kind of websites and marketing strategies to attract and win more business. Visit us today at rustygeorge.com.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rurucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with 0 investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
When the heat's an 11,
Cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net. Some AC you'll be loving
When your house is an oven.
dayandnight.net.
Northwest summers are beautiful, but there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Don't sweat through another summer. Have Day and Night keep your house cool and comfortable by installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
When the summer is cooking, we're the place to be looking.
Dayandnight.net.
Stay cool this summer with Day and Night. Call now to get 10% off an air conditioner or heat pump. Plus, no payments or interest for a year OAC. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Dayandnight.net.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
G. Scott here to talk about Sunbucks, a SNAP program that provides free, healthy food when school is out. If you could use the help, simply fill out the form online to determine eligibility for $120 of free food per child. If families had cards last year, they have been replenished. If families need new cards, they can call the Sunbucks Call Center. This message is presented by Safeway, where customers can use SNAP to save on produce and shop online. Visit hungerfreewa.org/summer EBT.
Got neighbors? Big Trees can help. This is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. If you've been considering planting trees to add privacy, look no further than Big Trees. Privacy trees fill in empty spaces, help to define property lines, and add curb appeal. Learn more about Big Trees' big supply of privacy trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Summer is here and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
Is your car road trip ready? Don't get stranded. Get to Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. Bucky's has been preparing cars, trucks, and SUVs for safe, worry-free travel for over 50 years. We take care of your car with experience and good old-fashioned customer service. For all your oil changes, brakes, AC charging, and factory maintenance, choose Bucky's. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Visit Bucky's.com. Bucky's, where your car feels right at home.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, Brock, the Mariners begin a series tonight against the Brewers, who all they've done is roll in on a 10-game win streak. They have tied the Cubs atop the NL Central. The teams with the two best records in the National League tied for first. So they are coming in very hot. The Mariners, well, they're tied with Boston, that second and third wild card spot. Just a game and a half up on the Rays for that final spot. Have you looked at these pitching matchups?
Oh my
This
goodness.
series.
Oh
we
my
have
goodness.
some good ones. George Kirby and Brandon Woodruff tonight. Then Jacob Mizorowski on Tuesday. How about this guy? Have you watched any of him at all? I mean, you've heard the buzz.
He was in the
right?
All-Star game,
You've
right?
heard the
There
hype.
was- yes. Mm-hmm.
The young rookie right-hander's made all of 5 starts in his career. Throws triple digits pretty consistently. Yeah, got to the All-Star game after just those handful of starts in his rookie season. Already drawing the Paul Skeens comps because of how fast he's risen up and become very notable in the pitching world. But you have Mizorowski against Logan Gilbert on Tuesday, and then Quinn Priester coming off a strong outing against Luis Castillo on Wednesday. So pitching-wise, the Mariners have lined this up pretty well.
They have, and isn't that good news?
Yeah,
haven't the Mariners been at some of their best over the course of the season, even in kind of recently here against Skubal and Mize, and let's see their very best, because when it's been best on best from a kind of a pitching duel and facing aces, they've kind of flipped that ace right around and found a way to win most of those games over the course of the season.
Brock, we have a strange dynamic, and we'll talk about this at 9:30 with your guy Gambo from Arizona Sports, our sister station. He's the drive time host out there. But the Astros are playing the Diamondbacks. So it's almost like, if the Diamondbacks keep winning,
right?
They've won 4 straight. They're going to win their way back into being buyers and not want to sell. They're already talking about that in their clubhouse. But you don't want the Astros to win, because then if the Astros lose, the Mariners make up ground. So
that's right.
It's going to be a weird dynamic watching this series in Arizona. I don't like
that situation.
Yeah, it's kind of like a win-win, but also a lose-lose in a sense. So not sure what
I
to
like
make
to
of
also
that.
see the Rays keep losing. That's a team that we've probably not talked about enough. I'd like to see them. You said it. We're a game and a half up on them.
They play the White Sox, so that's not good.
Now they play a ton of games in these final stretch here on the road over the course of the season. A team, an organization that's willing to do deals, and Jerry's just done a lot of deals with them. Keep an eye on them as well.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Something we're going to get into a little bit more at 7:30 and then further when Brady Henderson joins us at 8:30. But the Seahawks released Noah Fant yesterday. They moved on from his $13.41 million cap hit. Can you believe this? That was going to be the second highest cap hit on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Leonard Williams, Noah Fant. The two highest cap hits on the team this year. So the Seahawks release him. They have to eat some dead money. They saved $8.9 million with his release, though. And then the news also that towards the end of the week they signed Elijah Arroyo. So all the second-round picks have been signed.
Yep, the whole draft crew has been signed. We'll talk in a little bit more depth about Noah. I got 2, 3, 4 reasons why kind of all of that happened. We had been speculating about it, Mike, because he was the one guy on the roster financially. It just didn't make sense. For what you were going to get bang for the buck and the amount of investment there, and Arroyo being drafted where he was drafted, this really started in April, and unfortunately for Noah, culminated in his release yesterday.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Scottie Scheffler's domination over the golf world continued. 4-shot victory at the British Open. After the win, Brock, someone was asking about Tiger Woods. He goes, whoa, not there yet. But, hey, second major of the season, 4th of his career. Just needs a U.S. Open to complete the Grand Slam. And I know you liked a lot of what he had to say after the week leading up to it.
Yeah, he's just not an identity guy with the game of golf. It just doesn't define him. I do love that, obviously. Married, little kid, his wife, all those things super, super important to him. You know what struck me a little bit, Lefko? Is a little bit like Tom Brady being the GOAT, right? 10 Super Bowls, won 7 of them. He thought you'd never see any resemblance of it whatsoever. And then here comes this guy named Mahomesy that's been to 5 Super Bowls and won 3 of them. And it's just like, whoa. And same thing with Tiger. Never going to see another Tiger. Never going to see anybody go on a run like this. Never going to see any single individual dominate the game of golf over a 2-year, 3-year stretch like Tiger did. And here comes this Texan named Scheffler that just, he's got so much game that can play in any environment. And over the course of the weekend in that environment at the Open, just dominant.
Well, I thought you liked that he has a place that he likes to go to eat and feel like a normal guy. So I thought you liked this, yeah.
When I go home, there's 2 Chipotles that I eat at home. There's one, well, actually, not really one anymore. There's one right where I grew up. It's kind of near SMU's campus. If I was to go to that Chipotle and try to eat nowadays, it would be very difficult for me. There's another one in a different part of town that I'm not going to tell you where it is. But if I go there, nobody recognizes me ever. And so famous is just one of those things. It's like in some circles, like right now I'm the best player in the world. This week I was the best player in the world. I'm sitting here with the trophy. We're going to start all over in Memphis, back to even par. The show goes on.
Yeah, there's some depth to this conversation, Mike. The way that he handles all of this fame and attention, it is the anti-influencer. In a world where it is all about influencing, he just does it with his golf clubs, and yet it's not his identity. Kind of special stuff. So that's everything you need to know. I promised you one other thing.
Yeah, you did.
The best, most natural way. What are you, Lefko? 28 now? 29? Right around there?
Okay, sure.
Yep,
okay.
right around there.
Yeah, sure. Knock 10 years off that.
Once you hit that 25 mark, aging begins for us men. That's just what happens. You hit 25, we don't get as much natural testosterone flowing through our bodies, and we're typically done growing. So how do we do it? And I would encourage you that you got that paddleboard. I'd put that paddleboard on your shoulders and just do some squats. Just start there. Squatting is the single best thing you can do.
Have you seen the paddleboard? It's 11 feet long.
That's right. That's right. So
I'm going to put that over my head and squat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, 1 hour.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but you're going to find a way.
Okay.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's hormones involved,
I need Coach Ewart, I think.
Rock, he goes to the gym.
You need. You got to give me a demonstration. I want to see you put a paddleboard over your head and squat.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, are they very heavy? That'd be probably more balance, right?
No, it's too large to hold over your head.
Okay. Well, I mean, how wide is it though? Can you find a way?
You could probably width-wise.
There you go.
It's a lot bigger than you think. I tried to fit one fully inflated in my car the very first time.
Oh, no chance.
Didn't work.
That's a no chance.
That's no chance.
Okay, then go to the gym, like Morris said. If you're a gym guy, go to the gym.
Take the paddleboard to the gym. Okay.
No. Keep the paddleboard on top of your car. No, go in
Paddleboard
the
squats
gym.
in the gym. Yep.
And no, just get in there and start squatting. Goblet squatting, front squatting, barbell squatting, whatever you want to do. But just kind of get the squats going, Lefko. It's a good way for your natural growth hormones. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I thank you for calling me 29, since I'm very well in my mid-30s and on my way to the end
29.
there. On my way to the end there at 40. Yeah.
You still get carded.
I guess that's everything. Do I?
Yeah, you do. Of course you do.
Depends on the establishment, I guess. Yeah. All right. That is everything you need to know. But as Brock mentioned, we'll dig in more to the Noah Fant release, what that means for the Seahawks dynamic, and what it means for the rest of that tight end room, because there are a lot of young guys in the tight end room that should factor in pretty prominently with Noah Fant gone. It is Brock and Salk. Mike Lefko in here for Salk over the next few days on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
MLB Network insider John Morosi every week with Wyman and Bob.
Can they do enough at the trade deadline?
They don't have to necessarily be in first place by the end of July, but you need to show the front office that this team is worth adding to. But they need to show you more from guys who are not named Cal Raleigh. I'd be paying very close attention. Emerson, Young, Celestin, to see who potentially could be the one that they move.
See the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
We are deep into summer, so weekend trips, vacations, kids running around, driving them everywhere. You know it. I know it. We all have to do it. So you're busy. You might think you're too busy, though, to start a diet, workout, weight loss plan. You're not. Don't make that an excuse. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic will make it super easy for you so you won't feel like you're adding on another thing to a busy life. Instead, you're going to be subtracting a lot of weight. Did the plan, lost 35 pounds. Ryan Roland Smith down 30. Listener we talked to was down 42 pounds with more to go. And summer really is a good time to do it. The food tastes great. They're delicious meals, all food that you buy at the grocery store and make it home. And you will drop weight while not feeling hungry. Dr. Coogan has worked with over 4,000 people in the area and delivered successful results. So be the next. Schedule your 15 minutes by going to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
The biggest scuba sale in America starts Thursday at Underwater Sports in North Seattle. Clearance prices on masks, regulators, computers, fins, tanks, BCs, free photo and video seminars, free fitting, and incredible savings on a custom-fit dry suit. Big savings on beginner, advanced, and specialty classes. Underwater Sports' 47th Annual Divers Fair starts this Thursday at the North Seattle Underwater Sports Store, 107th and Aurora Avenue North. Don't miss the biggest scuba sale in America.
And year-round comfort with AeroSeal duct sealing. Normally $2,500. Now just $99 for PSE customers with each replacement furnace or heat pump from Home Comfort Alliance. Learn more at homecomfortalliance.com today.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bail Arm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bailarm.com today.
Seahawks Football Fest is back at Lumen Field, Saturday, August 2nd at 6 p.m.
Kick off your weekend with this exclusive practice in an evening full of football, family, and fun. Meet Seahawks legends, Seahawks dancers, and Blitz. Check out the gaming zone, face painters, live music, and DJ, and don't miss the autographed football toss. There's entertainment for all ages. Get an inside look at your 2025 Seattle Seahawks at Football Fest. Get your tickets at Seahawks.com.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
America's favorite car show is back. It's the Good Guys 37th Griot's Garage Pacific Northwest Nationals presented by Wicked Fabrication. All this weekend at the Washington State Fair Event Center. Over 2,500 of the Northwest's finest hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Shop the Fender Big Way. A free family fun zone, great live music, Saturday night twilight cruising, and so much more. All this weekend at the Washington State Fair Event Center in Puyallup. Details at good-guys.com.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ed, who suffered a neck injury in a highway pileup.
Had a bulged disc in my neck. It was pinching my spinal cord, so reached out to Rob. It was amazing. Their whole team were honest and kept me informed, like they were actually interested in helping me, not just a number. I'm very pleased with the outcome. I would definitely choose these guys again any time of the week.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Business leaders know to solve a problem, you gotta look at it in a new way. Like travel between Seattle and Portland. Why is it such a pain? I-5 traffic, TSA slowdowns, SeaTac hassles. Seaport removes those pain points. We fly out of Boeing Field and a private terminal at PDX. You park for free, steps away from your plane. And with flights every 45 minutes, you're always home for dinner. Problem solved. Seaport Airlines. It's about time.
Pacific Power Batteries has been our family-owned and operated business since 1985 when my dad and I started selling batteries business to business to commercial fleets from a 1-ton panel van. Yep, delivering batteries. Since then, with our community's support, we've been able to sell online and open more retail stores selling batteries of all kinds. Today, my wife and son are directly involved in the business. At Pacific Power Batteries, we are proud to serve you, your folks, and your grandparents with batteries for darn near anything. So I want to say thank you for your business.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Brock, some people have questions about your squat advice.
Yep. Let's go.
Yeah. What if you can't squat? What if you have bad knees? That's 570.
What if you got bad knees?
What if
Great
you have
question.
bad knees? Squatting stuff on the knees.
Sure. What if you're Mike Ewer and you got a new hip? You got an artificial knee. You know, you're kind of in rough shape in your mid-70s. Wall sit. Just start with some wall sits. Wall sits are a good little way to do it, and then kind of build up maybe some leg extensions. Leg extensions a great way if you got knee soreness. Great way to help build that quad up. Walk some stairs. There's always things you can do. Just don't make excuses.
Okay.
There you go. Find a little adapt, overcome, and improvise. And I get it. Achy knees, go see Dr. Nelson as well. I mean, he's going to help you out there. He's going to make you feel better, and then start with some wall sits. So that's what I got for you.
All right, that's good advice. There you go. That's some good coaching advice there from Coach Heward. Can we start calling you that? Like when the season starts, or is it already underway?
I'm not comfortable with that.
Right.
I'm just a role playing assistant coach. I'm not the coach.
All right. Okay. Well, you're Brock. You're just Brock to us
There you
now. So the Seahawks, we talked about it in Need to Know, but that was the big kind of headlining move of the weekend. They released Noah Fant, who had the second biggest cap hit on this team. They now have $9 million in cap space. But Brock, look at this tight end room. What do you make of A.J. Barner as the only guy who has NFL experience on this Seahawks team? Now, they brought in Eric Saubert, who's played a few places. They have some undrafted free agents. But it's just A.J. Barner who has experience in this system and under Coach Mike McDonald.
Yeah, I think you have to include Saubert in that, right? The NFL is a not-for-long league of constant transactions. We know that across the board. How many teams, what team is this for Saubert? Going into his 10th year, the Seahawks are what number team for him, Mike? Do you know off the top of your head?
At least 6.
At least 6. Yeah, that's a good guess. And it's more than that.
Okay.
It's not 6. It's not 7. The Seahawks are his 8th team in 10 years in this league. And he's hung around. And he's hung around because he's a good special teams player and he's a good blocker. And that's what he's going to be asked to do. He's going to be kind of the Pharaoh Brown of this group, where you're going to be the inline blocker. And then obviously Arroyo is your F, your move tight end, and AJ's a little bit of both of those things, as he showed last year as a rookie. But I think you also have to add into this mix, and this is, I think there's a few reasons that Noah was cut. First and foremost, number one, there's no question about it. You've mentioned the finances a bunch. That's it. You're going to save $8.9 million, and you've got other moves within your own roster that you want to make. So that's number one. Number two, you couldn't risk with his injury history. You just couldn't risk putting him on the field, and all of a sudden he gets hurt. All of a sudden, that knee, that hamstring, whatever that that back that he has battled. And guess what? He goes on IR, or you have to pay him, and it's not $1 million, it's not $2 million, it's $9 million. I mean, it's a lot of dough. So you just financially, with what you're projecting from him, you're going to take that risk. And then lastly, and I said this really started in April, and it started with drafting Arroyo at number 60, but it also started with drafting your fullback from Alabama, your fullback / tight end / F guy. That's Mr. What is it? Coots. That's going to, yep, Mr. Coots. It's going to play a role. And oh, by the way, Brady Russell, they love, and they kind of, view him as a pretty interchangeable, flexible F fullback, special teamer. So you just throw all that personnel. I think got to the point, Mike, where they looked at it and thought, can't find a way to put him on the field. And oh, by the way, he's worth $9 million. Yeah, we just can't take that financial risk. That make sense?
It's interesting you mentioned that, and specifically mentioned Brady Russell, because at OTAs, or no, this was after the draft, actually, Mike McDonald was asked about how the tight end room shakes out, and he specifically mentioned Brady Russell.
You don't have to live in 21. You can be in 12. I mean, there's options to be in different personnel groups. So all those guys are kind of competing for those roles of how we want it to come to life. So we got a lot of great players that kind of fit that tight end fullback mold, and special teams is going to be a big part of it too. And I know this, to bet against Brady Russell would be a gigantic mistake. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, so he'll have a role, a pretty big role. But what does this do to Elijah Arroyo? I mean, how much pressure does that put on him? It feels like if you're going to use multiple tight ends, you're banking a lot on a guy who you just drafted, who's had some injury issues in the past. Do you think this is the expectation that he comes in and he's part of this starting group right away?
I'll tell you this, man. If you're Elijah Arroyo, you're his agent, you're his family, you're his former coach, you're doing high fives.
Yeah.
This is the beauty, the blessing and the curse of the NFL. If you're Noah Fant, his agent, his family, his people, man, this really stings. I don't think he was blindsided. I really don't. I think, when you're in the league, as long as you are and you know what your cap number is and you're not producing and they draft and they bring people in and it's a new system, I don't think in any world Noah Fant was blindsided by this news. And in fact, I think they tried to trade him over the last few months. And unfortunately, a tight end market that's got a lot of young talent, a tight end class this last year that had a lot of guys drafted in the first and the second and the third round. There just was not a market to trade him. But on Noah Fant's side, yeah, still a bummer. Still a bummer to be terminated, right? Dave Wyman was terminated. Michael Bumpus was terminated. Yours truly was terminated. You get that letter from the team saying we're terminating your contract. It's humbling. It's hard. It's a bummer. But on the flip side, and the blessing, is Arroyo's let's go. A.J. Barner's I'm the man. Eric Saubert's I got a chance to play 10 years in this league. And then Brady Russell and obviously Coots, are yeah, this is a real opportunity. You say pressure, you've got to flip that and say, man, what a real opportunity a lot of these guys now have in front of them.
Well, I think you answered the question that I had and probably a lot of people had about the timing with Noah Fant, because it did feel like if you knew this cap hit was prohibitive, you were going to try to get rid of him. But all right, it sounds like a trade just never materialized.
Couldn't find it.
Yeah, couldn't find it. So now with this money, this $9 million freed up in cap space, what do you think they do here? Is this another veteran? We saw that very late Connor Williams signing last year. We've talked about this 2022 rookie class, that now they're all coming up on extensions. Is this money freed up now to sign some of these guys who were key parts of these last few seasons?
I think yes and yes to those, Mike. I think that's just the fluid nature of the NFL, right? Where they do have their flow charts. They do look at things. Brady Henderson, as you mentioned earlier, will join us in a little less than an hour. And I know he's got some intel on this and some thoughts along these lines. I do think there are some guys they're talking to. There's no question about that. Whether that's Charles Cross, whether that's Boye Mafe, whether that's Kobe Bryant, whether that's those guys that have played and earned the right to have those conversations. Now, Are the numbers at a team-friendly kind of situation right now because there's no deadline, there's no rush? Sure. And are some of these players kind of looking at it? Maybe, hey, I'm going to bet on myself a little bit more. So I think that's some of the line they're playing. I'd also say this. I think corner's pretty well established now with that Shaq signing. Like I think they feel pretty good there. Safety is pretty good. Offensive line, I don't think there's anybody. I think Brandon Scherf is just cooked at this point. I don't think there's a Connor Williams. Tight end room, we mentioned all these pieces. Receiver room, maybe the most competitive group on the team. Running backs, quarterback. Keep an eye, as much as you've got guys there. I think with that Uchenna injury, just kind of keep an eye on the edge.
Okay.
I think that could be a place if you were to say, hey, push my shoulders up against the wall. Where is some place that a veteran or a street free agent could still be signed, or maybe a veteran could be traded for? With Uchenna's injury, with Lawrence's injury history, and I think Boye and Derek, where they are, it's good players, but probably still needs some support in the lineup around them. I'd keep an eye on that edge. I don't think they're completely done filling that aspect of the roster out.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned Boye Mafe because we kind of did this exercise last week. I was filling in with Wyman. I kind of ran him through the list.
Admirably, by the way.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
So much so that we played your song.
I heard, and I love that Salk made my point for me even more.
Yes.
He thoroughly completed my point because he was naming all these rookie quarterbacks and these guys in their second years. Like, Bryce Young's not going anywhere. He's got a couple years left. He's in no pressure this season. We don't have to go back down that conversation, but no, it was
just filled in admirably.
It was interesting. Okay. No, I appreciate that. But along those lines, the conversation that kind of led Wyman down, and we were doing a little game with the 2022 class of, all right, extend, play out, or just, let go and not even try to sign. Were there any of these guys, and I asked Dave this, and we kind of narrowed in, we each picked a guy, that you really think they need to get a deal done with now, before they play out this final year and risk having them balloon upward and say, well, now you have all the leverage, you played really well, you're going to outperform what we want to pay you. Who do you think with this maybe $9 million they might try to go after and sign before the season?
As I said, I think those three guys I mentioned would be the safer bets. I think there's foundational pieces actually the following year, Mike. Like, I think your foundational, like your Cam, your Richard, your Bobby, your Russell, your Doug, like your guys are going to be Spoon, are going to be JSN, and going to be Cross. I think those are your foundational pieces that I've got to keep money in the kitty as I do my work and pencil my numbers and do all this. Like, those are foundational rocks. But the next level of guys that you're talking about, the one that would probably make the most financial sense would be Boye.
Yeah.
If you can get him at the numbers you want him, because you've seen those numbers absolutely skyrocket. And if Boye Mafe goes out there this year, what was it, 8.5 sacks 2 years ago, dipped a little, though the pressures were good last year, and he gives you a double-digit sack number, you know what that is on the market, right? I mean, that is some significant coin out there. So that one probably, as I said, the safer, maybe the Kobe Bryants, kind of those role players that aren't the mega deals, that are the Julian Love kind of deals. Those probably at this juncture, without a real deadline looming, those are the ones to keep an eye on.
Yeah. So I kind of wonder about Abe Lucas. What do you think about this, of how he could project if he plays the entire season? Obviously, you don't want to risk committing to someone who you think might have some injury concerns. But we know how expensive offensive linemen are. We saw Trey Smith as a guard, the deal he just locked up, and offensive tackles. Wow, they command a premium. Not going to say that Abe Lucas is going to be the highest paid offensive tackle in the league, but a free agent offensive tackle. How often have we talked about this? How guards and tackles get paid a ton.
Yep.
Do you risk Abe Lucas becoming too expensive if he has a season like he did his rookie year?
No, I think that's a great question. They would have, kind of an injury projection and history there, Mike, unlike anybody else in the league, right? I think that would come with kind of like a car warranty. I certainly don't want to say a lemon, and Abe has put himself in unbelievable shape for what will be the biggest year of his young career. But I think that's one of those situations where they know better than anybody else in the league exactly what's under that hood. But we also do know, to your point, and John Schneider said it to you and to Bob and to Dave, how many times these guys just don't grow on trees. And every team in the league, 25 of the 32 teams that are starting camp this week are all saying the same thing. Man, I wish I had another lineman. Man, I wish I had another good lineman. Man, I want a young difference-making lineman. So, no, to your point right there, This is an enormous year for Abe Lucas, and really the opportunity individually for him, and then collectively, if you could find a way and you feel good about his health, to have those two bookends like they did their rookie year, projecting that ahead is a good deal for a team.
I know, it's almost that double-edged sword, right? Where if Abe Lucas plays like you hope he can and does play 100% of the snaps, or essentially what his rookie year was all but one game, and that was a different kind of injury. I don't think it was the knee that has now become such an issue. But if he plays like that, that's great. Now you have your cornerstones. You're very excited about that. But then it's going to cost you perhaps more than you project. And if Abe Lucas is a little shaky and he can't play in every game, maybe you could get him for a cheaper price. But then you have something that's a little less than rock solid at right tackle. So I think that's to me, out of this 2022 class, the most fascinating player of this class that's going to be contract extension eligible now and into their final year.
Hey, Maura, cut that. Let's use that in the morning show tomorrow. Let's get another strong opinion from Mike Lefkoe.
But I'm here tomorrow. We're going to play my own thing.
I'm teasing. Jeez, I'm just teasing, guys. But again, man, you're just making headlines, Lefkoe. You're getting so good at
headlines,
this.
okay. Is that how you guys characterize that Darnold take? That was a headline-worthy one?
Oh, that's a headline right there.
Okay.
I mean, I'm looking at your show notes. It's a headliner. It gets replayed in the morning. Yeah, that was a good take. I think I did come up with a couple, and you did preface that by saying early on, right? The amount of pressure that Sam's going to have on him. I'd put, again, as I argued, a little bit of Russell, a little bit of Aaron Rodgers, just because their careers could be done.
Well,
like if Russell wasn't good, his career's done.
Yeah, but no one expects anything out of Russell Wilson at this point. He's on what, his third team in 3 years?
Mr. Unlimited?
Jackson Dart's the future. They brought in Jameis as
Mr. Unlimited.
Yeah, I don't even know why they brought Jameis Winston in, but they're all there. It's almost like, okay, let's see which of these guys can throw the ball more accurately to start, and we'll ride with the hot hand with Jackson Dart as the presumed future. That would be the only reason why I didn't throw someone like Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson in. I think the bar is now so low. Yeah. It's not even a bar. It's just on the floor.
By the way, are you ready for camp? You feel like, with everything that's going on with the Mariners, with everything that's going on with Cal Raleigh, with everything that's looming with the trade deadline, do you feel like you've got enough kind of margin with everything that's going to happen with you on that paddleboard this afternoon on the lake? Right? With everything you're going to share over the next couple days with the bet that you lost to me. Don't think I forgot about that because I did.
Maura reminded you. You definitely forgot until Maura reminded you.
There's
no way. I can't wait till that happens one of these next 3 days.
A bet is a bet, Mike Lefkoe.
I know. I'm here. I'm ready to pay it off.
You got to pay off a bet. Do you feel like you're ready for Seahawks training camp to start Wednesday? Like, can you just shift gears? Football, paddleboarding, skating, baseball?
Think I'm going to have to paddleboard down to Renton because every road in Seattle is under construction or closed. So I'll let you know how I get down there on Wednesday and Thursday and every day from now on. But you know what? Good. I'm glad you're talking about football, Brock, and we'll continue with this because right now, let's get to Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
Well, Brock, there are some things that have come out, some studies around the league about home field advantage. So I ask you, why has home field advantage seemingly vanished around the NFL?
Yeah, I think so often, Michael, and I think every show does it. I think everybody in media does it. And when you do sports radio and you talk for hours and get the opportunity and the privilege to do this every day, we get so focused on our own. Oh, Mariners can't hit with runners scoring position. Oh, Mariners can't do that. The Seahawks can't play defense. Oh, the Seahawks home field advantage is lost. And then you kind of step back and you realize, it's not just the Seahawks that are not winning at the prolific rate at home that they did, and certainly in the heyday. It's a lot of teams. And I think it's a pretty easy answer on this one. Who benefits the most on a football team from a home field advantage? The defense. The defense benefits the most. The chaos that noise creates to make communication hard. The half-step advantage that I like to say that the D-line gets. The tackles that can't hear the cadence and have to look in or hold the hand of that guard. And that's sort of a little late off the ball where the edges can be secured and won a little bit more, right? Where just the emotion can feed just the relentlessness and the pursuit of defense and fill up their emotional tank. Like the defense is the one that has absolutely benefited the most. What have we also seen over the last 10 years? Across the league, many ways, statistically speaking, a decline in defense, defensive efficiency. Why? Well, because every rule, as your buddy in the afternoon, Mr. Wyman, will tell you, every competitive and competition committee rule is really favored to whom? The offense. Right? Pass interference and this grind, like all of these rules that are really there to help offenses. So should we be terribly surprised when rule changes benefit an offense? Terribly surprised when money and budgets and the market is giving you receiver after receiver after receiver and Saquon Barkley and Jefferson and all these elite Jamar Chase, if you've watched QB podcasts, my gosh, or documentary, what an amazing player. So, yeah, I think take a step back, and it was a bummer. And last year, you hate to see it, so good on the road and obviously not nearly enough wins at home. But playing elite defense, and if Mike McDonald takes a step with this group, I bet you as that defense improves, so will that home field advantage once again.
All right, number 2. Brock, we touched on this a little bit in talking about the Noah Fant release, but what are the 2 biggest reasons that Noah Fant was cut?
Yeah, number 1, just the financial risk, that you just could not take the risk. You say, why now? Why on the precipice a couple days ahead of camp? Because you couldn't risk putting him on the field. With a vested veteran like him, you know, he's going to, if something were to happen to him, he was going to get all of that $8.9 million, whatever it is, a lot of millions. So you just couldn't take the financial risk once you start training camp of him getting nicked up and beat up and lost. And so that's number 1. And then number 2, you've got a plethora of guys, young guys that you added to this roster, both in the draft and then obviously Saubert, not a young guy, but you added personnel to that position to give you a versatility and a flexibility to absorb that loss of Noah Fant. And then number 3, he just wasn't dynamic enough, right? Like if you're going to make that kind of money at that position in this league, you got to produce much more significant numbers. You got to make things happen when the ball is in your hand. Good player, yes. Great player, worthy of that contract at this stage? Unfortunately not.
Wow, look at that. I asked you for 2. You gave me 3.
Yeah,
you keep going overachiever there, extra credit. We had 4 things you need to know. We have 3 things for the 2 reasons I asked you, but no, I appreciate it. We're coming in strong on a Monday. Brock, what's a crazy...
You think there's going to be a lot of paddle boarders on Lake Washington?
Well, I don't go to Lake Washington, so I don't know.
Oh, you don't?
Lake Union.
You're a Lake Union guy.
I'm a Lake Union and West Side guy, so Puget Sound. Yeah, closer. Geography.
Paddleboard on the Salt?
Yeah, it's great.
With those orcas?
Yeah, it's quiet out there. Not a lot of boats. Just quiet. Paddle into the shadow of downtown. It's beautiful.
Of sea lions or orcas when you get on that paddleboard?
No, not orcas. Not orcas where I am that close to shore.
Okay.
The occasional sea lion, yeah. You got some jellyfish you get sometimes.
Do you bark at a sea lion like you do a bear?
Do I what? Do I bark at one?
Well, like we're fishing up in Alaska, right? And you see a bear and you got to say, hey, bear, hey, bear. Like you got to let that bear know you're there. Like with a big old sea lion, you bark back at him?
No.
No?
I'm never taking you paddleboarding. So, yeah, we're never going paddleboarding together.
Sorry,
yeah, I mean, this is the one you wanted to talk about, too. You wanted to indulge this fantasy. So we'll go down this road, this what if. What was a crazy what if for you that would have propelled Michael Penix and UW even more?
Can you imagine this? This was Bussin' with the Boys, and I had no idea that Brock Bowers, the best tight end, according to folks in the NFL right now, right, doing all these lists, he's the #1 tight end. You want to talk about dynamic. Goodness gracious. I had no idea he was this close to being a dog. Here he was on that podcast.
Who was it coming down to? Or was Georgia always kind of the lead dog?
It was kind of like Georgia and Washington, University of Washington.
Yeah. Why Washington?
Duo. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it was just because it was kind of a little bit closer to home. I mean, they had some decent tight ends coming through, and I really liked the coaching staff there. So it was kind of like toss-up. But like, I was kind of weighing my options. I was like, I don't really know if I want to be in Seattle.
They have a cool game day atmosphere.
Yeah, to sit with the boats.
The boats tailgating. Their stadium's loud for not like holding, you know what I mean, like 80, 100,000 fans.
The Northwest, for whatever reason, like does football games in a very unique but loud and cool culture.
Washington goes hard, man.
Washington, Oregon. Washington goes hard. I mean, the Seahawks, that whole area goes crazy.
We do go crazy.
Well, I was going to ask you, what coaching staff is that? That's probably Peterson still, right? Because he was a junior in 2019. He's probably getting recruited before that, so 18 to 19.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, that's fair. That's that Rome Odunze, Jalen McMillan. It was that class that obviously Kalen DeBoer reaped all the benefits from of those high school players on top of the Penix and others. But yeah, Rosengarten, Rome Odunze, Jalen McMillan. If you had added Brock Bowers to that crew, and in that championship game against a Michigan, if you had a Brock Bowers. Now, Culp was drafted. He's playing in the NFL to his point. I mean, the Huskies that put out, and this goes back to the 80s and 90s, right? This goes back to guys before you were even born, Lefko. Aaron Pierce and Ernie Conwell and Mark Bruner and Jeremy Stevens and Cam Cleland. And we can go through the list of a litany of great tight ends at the University of Washington. And then a recent memory, too, that are proliferated the league. But that was a pretty cool what if, and trying to imagine Brock Bowers as a Husky, maybe that 23 national title game goes a little.
Well, I'm curious. I wonder if Kalen DeBoer is even here. Like, maybe Chris Peterson stays. I mean, that's your guy. Maybe he gets Brock Bowers here. Maybe Jimmy Lake gets less frustrated and he stays. I don't know. So we'll see. Maybe that sideline incident doesn't happen.
Maybe that's a what if kind
That's
of
a big what
for
if.
you. Woo!
Brock Bowers could have changed the course of Husky history.
Could have had a powerhouse Brock in this one.
Wow. Man, too many Brocks around. So, all right. That's Blue 88, a fun little what if to end on there. Brock, the trade deadline is hurtling towards us. So we're a little over a week away from the trade deadline coming at the end of July. So you still have a good chunk of games to get to before that, but it is getting here very fast, and there might not be a plethora of good players available. In fact, one popular name might not even be available at all. We'll get into that coming up next. Brock and Salk here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new Comcast Business customers can find out how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how you get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Early termination fee applies.
I'm Rusty George. My local marketing agency specializes in helping companies in the building and manufacturing industries develop the right kind of websites and marketing strategies to attract and win more business. Visit us today at rustygeorge.com.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Holler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHoller.com, hauling with a heart.
For Riverside Roofing, beyond the national accolades is a family company from right here in Marysville that's built upon important local values like trust. That's why Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust. Find them at riversideroofingllc.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/delivery for more details.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures, until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke Ewart. And Brooke Ewart.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
What a Monday. It's going to be football right on the horizon. Seahawks training camp is 2 days away. Brock's already fired up. He's got the HGH flowing. The veins are bulging out already. Ready to go for football. But baseball's in the heat of everything as well.
You know what I said to the boys the other day?
Yeah.
You would like this. And I know we'll get to baseball, so I don't want to get in the way of this in transition to the trade deadline and everything else. But I looked at my tight end group. I looked at Noah. I looked at Jarrett. I looked at Timmy playing football for the first time in his life. I looked at Goo. I looked at these guys. And I said, you know what I want today? I want your teammates to watch the film, and I want them to say, man, these dudes are willing to put their face in the fan. And they looked at me like I had 8 eyes. And I was like, you know what that means, right? And they're like, no, coach, what does that mean? I said, face in the fan. Like just crazy, just psycho, just violent. Like you'd be willing to stick your face within the propeller of a fan for your teammates. So, yeah, so that was about a week and a half ago.
You did that as a child, didn't you?
Yeah, well, more with my finger, right, first. Not necessarily, but I do have the 5-head for it. I mean, I got some extra skull that I could absolutely put in there. And if I lost a little, I don't think it would hurt me too much. So, yes.
Now, one of those names, you said Goo. Is that a nickname or a
Goo,
last
yeah,
name?
yeah.
Last name, okay.
Yeah, Will. Yeah,
I thought that was just some nickname. I wanted the story behind it. So, okay.
So there you go. I apologize.
There's a little football discussion. Yeah. But trade deadline, we're getting excited about that, too, because now that the All-Star game is in the rearview mirror, the draft is done. Which, with the timing of the draft, we know that kind of puts a halt on trade talks because front offices have to focus on the draft. That's a huge labor-intensive process. So now all that's out of the way. It is full on with the trade deadline. The problem is, Brock, Eugenio Suarez, the former Mariner, Gino, as you affectionately and we all call him, he is playing well, and the Diamondbacks are playing really well. He might not be available anymore. It feels like this Diamondbacks team has belief, and they're trying to play themselves into a wild card contender. We saw him do it in 2023. I wonder now if they continue to play well, if Suarez is even on the trade block.
That's right. So, yeah, they're a complicating team in a number of ways, like so many of these baseball conversations tend to be. Because before the All-Star break, right, they had lost a bunch of games. They had won their final one right before the break, but they're sitting there at 3 games under 500. They got the Cardinals coming out of the break, who are a wild card team in the NL. And as a Mariner fan, you're just kind of rooting for them to lose. But these guys become available. They've got a ton of impending free agents as well, like true rental players for the next, what do we have left, 63 games over the course of this regular season. That's it. But now they're 500. Now they're 4 games back. Now Eugenio Suarez is only looking up at Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge of total home runs hit with 2 more bombs last night. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be one you want to pry away. And then if so, you really want the Astros to go sweep those Diamondbacks? Yeah, it's a complicated situation. I'll say this, Mike. I can say this confidently. The phones have heated up. In just kind of conversations and what I've learned here over the last few days, there is a lot of conversation. They came back from the All-Star break with the draft in the rearview mirror, and there's a lot of teams talking. But I think a lot of teams going, what are we? A little bit like our beloved Seattle Mariners. You know, what are we as we project ahead? You know, what are the Diamondbacks? What are the Rays? You know, what are some of these teams that are seemingly, you know, a series sweep away from kind of changing the narrative of their projection in their ball club?
And it seemed like, Gino was the prohibitive front runner in terms of you need a corner infield upgrade. This is a guy who is just mashing right now. He's familiar with this organization. He is beloved here. That seemed like the guy. The definitive over everyone else. That's the name that was being thrown around. Then listen to what he said last night, Brock, after that sweep of the Cardinals, like you said, where now they're hot. This was Suarez after the game. He said, quote, we want to try to make it a hard decision for them. I think everyone feels happy where we are right now. We want to stay together and try to win games. I think we've got a good chance. A lot of games left, and now with the series sweep, it's a good message for everyone. Obviously, he doesn't control if he's going to be traded or not, but it feels like that Diamondbacks team has a lot of belief. They are playing together, and they literally set the example of what you can do in 2023. Them and the Rangers get in as a wild card, go to the World Series.
That's exactly right.
That's a problem right now. There are too many teams in contention.
And their GM's kind of said it. So it's kind of how we started this show. And it's the beauty of the game of baseball. It creates these short-term, long-term conversations, right?
Yeah.
Like in the short term, Gino's absolutely right. In the here and now, with a week plus to go before the trade deadline, it sounds like Paul Sewald a few years ago at the Mariners. Like, veteran guys know this. Yeah. They know the way that this game is played. Yet at the same time, is Arizona and their GM just kind of leveraging, knowing, man, we have no pitching in the future, right? We're in this NL, looking at the Dodgers and the Padres and the Giants and all these teams out over the horizon over the long term. And how are we built? And what is going to be truly the best way to bolster our farm system, to bolster our major league club for the years ahead? If we keep all these rentals and we can't sign any of them back, did we miss the boat, Mike, on not taking advantage of this trade? So, yeah, man, there is just a constant teeter-totter and tug of war of present tense, future tense, especially when it comes to the sport of baseball.
Well, regardless if it's Suarez or anyone else the Mariners are going to get at the trade deadline, it feels like it's going to have to be a, quote, overpay, if you will, in terms of what they're going to give up. You know how you have the short-term, long-term, when people grade the trade and they give an immediate day after the trade happened grade. In the short term, they might feel like the other team won, like they did when the Cincinnati Reds traded Luis Castillo. Whoa, the Mariners gave up a ton of prospect capital. Not sure if that's going to be wise, trading your top 2 prospects, your 2 best shortstops for this Luis Castillo, who, what's he going to give you? Well, he gave you what you needed that season. They signed him to an extension. So with the demand for someone like Suarez, or Brock, just look at the teams that are still in contention, who would consider themselves buyers. There are 6 other teams in the American League outside of the Mariners in a playoff spot, or the Rays are right there competing for it, then 6 to 9 in the National League. So if you want Eugenio Suarez,
correct.
How are you going to get him over any of these other teams?
And oh, by the way, the Cubs and the Yankees, who are better teams than you, right? They have their biggest need, singular biggest need, is that position. And that position may be alone, where you've got a little more need. I think very clearly, these Mariners over these 10 days know that they've got to get the whole team better. That the talent level, if they're not just going to get into the playoffs, but is going to make some noise in the playoffs, has got to rise a little. We are hyper-focused on the known, on the Eugenio Suarez, but we don't have as much attention and focus on the creative moves that could be out there, on the role player, there's no question, I will say this too, Mike, there is no question coming off of this homestand and really the last couple weeks, this team needs another leverage reliever as much as they need a corner infielder. And the market is a lot more plentiful. I won't be surprised at all, by the way. I think Brandon Garcia is going to get called up today.
Today?
I think so.
When, though?
Because,
is it going to happen during our show so we can break the news?
Probably not. Those transactions usually happen a little later. But if I know the Mariners, and all you got to do is look at the course of the season, the players with options that they move up and down. It's all over the bullpen, right? We have seen so many of those guys. Garcia's been up at Tacoma. I know the walk rate, as Churchill tweeted, it's a little high. But that's a guy that you want to see. Right, that's a guy over the next, few days, 10 days as well before this deadline. You want to see, and because his stuff is absolutely, as Lyle will tell you, electric and filthy, and his swing and miss and his strikeout and everything that he's done to kind of climb through the system. And he's sitting in Tacoma. I wouldn't be, with Legamina's struggles, would not be surprised at all to see a lefty come up and Legumina go down, and just be kind of the start of, we need to just elevate the overall talent on this roster.
Yeah, that'd be great to see another lefty in there. We know they don't have any left-handed starters, so to get another lefty in the bullpen to go along with Spire would be huge, so we'll see what happens there. A lot more you need to know about this Mariners team, plus some NFL news that just happened a little while ago that we'll get into as we get towards the start of training camps coming up here this week around the league. All that coming up next here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports app.
MLB Network insider John Morosi every week with Wyman and Bob.
Can they do enough at the trade deadline?
They don't have to necessarily be in first place by the end of July, but you need to show the front office that this team is worth adding to. But they need to show you more from guys who are not named Cal Raleigh. I'd be paying very close attention. Emerson, Young, Celestin, to see who potentially could be the one that they move.
See the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices, so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed, all in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data, except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
Summer is here, and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors, expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy-efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates, and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
Celebrate 40 years of The Bite. The Bite of Seattle returns to Seattle Center, July 25th to 27th. Over 300 food and retail vendors, plus games and live music. Admission is free. Enjoy a Seattle summer tradition at The Bite of Seattle with delectable multicultural cuisine, live entertainment, and fun for everyone. Enjoy a Friday night screening of Pixar's Ratatouille at the Mural. Taking over Seattle Center July 25th to 27th. Come to The Bite, biteofseattle.com.
Hey golf fans, Jordan Babineau here. Get ready for an unforgettable weekend at the 2025 Boeing Classic. Come see Masters champions and Hall of Fame golfers battle it out at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge, August 8th through the 10th. Bring the whole family and check out Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Plus, celebrate 20 years of the Boeing Classic, supporting the Benaroya Research Institute at Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. It's more than just golf. It's an experience you won't want to miss. August 8th through the 10th. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BlowingClassic.com for more.
The biggest scuba sale in America starts Thursday at Underwater Sports in North Seattle. Incredible savings for 3 days only. Divers Fair only happens once each year at Underwater Sports, 107th and Aurora Avenue North.
Seahawks Football Fest is back at Lumen Field, Saturday, August 2nd at 6 p.m. Kick off your weekend with this exclusive practice in an evening full of football, family, and fun. Meet Seahawks legends, Seahawks dancers, and Blitz. Check out the gaming zone, face painters, live music, and DJ, and don't miss the autographed football toss. There's entertainment for all ages. Get an inside look at your 2025 Seattle Seahawks at Football Fest. Get your tickets at Seahawks.com.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men, too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have that new car you've been looking for. With the power of choice, drive the sleek hybrid Camry leasing as low as $299 a month, the dependable Corolla, or the electric Prius leasing at just $309 a month. If you're headed to the ballpark or cruising I-5 from the north or the south, visit Toyota of Renton or Kirkland or shop online at toyotaofrenton.com and toyotaofkirkland.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Mariners begin a series tonight against the Brewers, who roll in on a 10-game win streak. Mariners sit 4 games back of the Astros in the AL West. They did win the series, and it came on a Cole Young walk-off on Saturday night.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, ripped, right field line. That is the ball game. It is over in the 11th. Cole Young, the hero, walk it off. Mariners beat the Astros 7-6. They do it in 11 innings. And this place is going wild. The long, winding, twisting road. It is victory at the end of it for the Mariners.
That was a wild one Saturday night. Were you working pre or post at all, or watching or at it, or?
No, I was watching. I had to take a little break from all the pre and post.
Oh,
We're coming back in a flourish this week.
Dylan Moore, was that off the knob? Was that off his hand? What an unbelievable, instinctive play from Cal Raleigh. Let's add his base running skills, too. He's tremendous on the base pass with doing what he does, not just stealing bases, but and Cole Young's channeling a little Mitch Haniger now with a couple walk-off hits here in the first 50-some games of his career. So, yeah, that kind of set, for me, that just kind of set the mood for the whole weekend. I know, disappointed with a 3-0 lead and an error yesterday and Wu giving up a couple home runs. But, yeah, series win, you'll take it. And certainly if you tell me right now, you take 2 of 3 from Milwaukee, I will sign up for that every day and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, 59-40. The Brewers come to town. Great pitching matchups, especially the first 2 games of the series. Tonight, George Kirby and Brandon Woodruff. And then on Tuesday, Logan Gilbert and Jacob Mizorowski. A couple of 6:40 first pitches, 5:30 pregame coverage.
Hey, Michael, I know this is odd, but does there get to a point where a team has won so many, like they have, the Brewers, 10 in a row, 6 of them, 2 sweeps of the Dodgers, where you're like, they're due to lose?
Oh, you believe in that, huh? Okay.
I don't know.
And that they're due to lose or due to win. So do you feel the other way? Like if a team has come in having lost 6 in a row?
Well, like the Mariners have won 5 in a row, right?
Yeah.
And you've taken 2 from Houston, and you knew you were going to get Houston's very best shot. They do not want to get swept to begin the second half. Like, you wonder if the Brewers, after beating the Dodgers twice and sweeping away, like maybe as crazy as it sounds, maybe like kind of getting them at a point where they're not going to keep winning. Eventually, they are going to lose.
Eventually.
And why not start a 3-game losing streak tonight in
We'll
the
see.
sunshine in Seattle?
Okay, we'll see.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, some things happening around the NFL. So yesterday, the Seahawks released Noah Fant. They moved on from his $13.41 million cap hit. They had to eat some dead cap. They saved $8.9 million with the release. And then Brock, about 20 or 30 minutes ago, news came out that Titans backup quarterback, I guess. Now, Will Levis is going to undergo right shoulder surgery. So he's out for the season. So it is fully the Cam Ward show, the number 1 overall pick, going to be the starter for the Titans.
He's an interesting one, old mayonnaise guy, because his delivery, like when you watch him throw a football, have you ever kind of seen Will Levis, or can you kind of picture his throwing mechanics?
Brock, you're talking to a Titans fan. Have I seen Will Levis? I have seen every Will Levis meme in the book. Yes, I've seen Will Levis.
Super muscular guy, right? I mean,
he does his squats.
Yes, he does. Super physical guy, but man, his release, I've always looked at it and wondered how that just seems like it's hard on the arm. You know, there's not a lot of, like, the old school. If you watch, and you know what you didn't see a lot of for, like, decades and decades? You didn't see a lot of guys with bad arms in the NFL. Mm-hmm. The Joe Montanas, the Marinos, the Elways, like, they kind of just use step and throw with their whole body. This whole new age of biomechanics, and I know this is getting a little too crazy for Will Levis and the need to know, but man, it puts a lot of strain on that arm, and I'm not shocked nor surprised to see him, unfortunately, undergo season-ending surgery.
Did you watch Quarterback, the new season, with Joe Burrow and Goff?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Did you see the one where Burrow is discussing his throwing motion, how he completely changed his motion? They showed the clips of him, the high school camps, and how he completely reworked that.
Yep. Yeah, he's a quirky dude now.
Yeah.
He is. He's kind of a quirky fella, but what an unbelievable year he had last season. And that that documentary, if you've not watched it, if you want to get yourself ready for football season, find a way to watch that documentary. Peyton and crew do such an unbelievable job with that.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Just a few more notes from around the baseball world. So Tarek Skubal struck out 11 last night. Tigers won 2-1 over the Rangers. Detroit's the first team to 60 wins. I didn't realize they'd snapped a 6-game losing streak. So with the Mariners, 3 losses, a loss before that, and then they lost the first 2 against Texas. Yeah, Detroit, they lost 6 straight. They get to 60 wins after the win yesterday. They have the best record in baseball. And then the Cubs and Brewers are right behind them, 59-40 on the season for those two teams. The Rays, you mentioned it, Brock. We're going to be watching the Rays very closely down the stretch here from a trade deadline perspective and for the fact that they're chasing the Mariners in that wild card race. So they took 2 of 3 from the Orioles. They're just a game and a half back in the wild card. They host the White Sox for 3. So as we look at a tough series for the Mariners, kind of a no-win situation with the Astros playing the Diamondbacks, well, the Rays, they have a pretty easy opponent in the White Sox starting today.
Yep. Yeah, I think I am rooting for the Diamondbacks. I think Lyle and I are on the other side of this. Lyle, you said you're, as hard as it is, you're kind of rooting for the Astros in that one?
Yeah, the Mariners are just going to have to win to keep pace with them because, they need to upgrade their roster.
Yep.
That's wild to say. Rooting for the Astros. But yeah. In this situation, in this very limited situation.
And there's how many bats are out there to really trade for that are going to actually impact the roster? I don't think there's very many.
Well, all right.
It's complicated.
That's everything you need to know, I think. Did you say you had something to tell me about?
I got some breaking news, too.
You have breaking news. Okay.
I do. Yeah, your normal show host in the afternoon. I just got a picture. He is out on a boat this morning. You realize that? And
it's got to be Dave Wyman.
Wyman doesn't love boats.
Bob's not awake for another 3 hours.
No.
Yeah.
They're paying off, as you know, I think the number one auction item with Holiday Magic for years and years and years now is the Dave Wyman, Tom Nelson fishing trip. And, they're on it this morning. I'm looking at an absolutely gorgeous salmon. Not surprised that Tommy and crew put that auction winner on. And I'm seeing a big slab of blood on Wyman's leg. Yes.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
He bumped into something or something broke.
No, I'll send you the pic here.
Okay.
No, actually,
why did you send me a video of a bear, by the way? Brock just sent me a video of a bear. Were you yelling at it in here?
I was yelling at it.
Oh, I don't have. We're on the air, so I can't listen to the sound. But
yeah, remember I was telling you about the sea lions, and if you get bears, you got to yell at those bears and let them know that you're the boss. But kudos to Wyman and Tom and Joey and that auction winner, and a very bloody lower leg here of Dave Wyman, having to deal with the fishing boat this morning. So
if there's a Wyman injury, that's the surest sign that football's back.
Oh, yes.
Football is back. Training camp begins this week.
Yeah.
And Dave Wyman will be in his full glory out there. Have you seen what he does out there? He kind of gardens sometimes during the downtime.
Does he really?
Yeah, he'll kind of
Pulling
pick the
weeds
flowers.
and-
Deadheads, he calls it.
He used to bring Jessamine and I dahlias all the time.
Oh, yeah.
He puts them in little blue moon bottles. It's perfect.
That's perfect.
Summation of Wyman.
That is, that's literally the perfect summation, and it is everything you need to know. We'll see if this guy has ever yelled at bears or walruses because he lives out on the water, but he's got some good Seahawks insight as well. Brady Henderson will join us next here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The clack of the cleats. The sounds of summer drifting off Lake Washington. Green 18, These sounds of summer are the prelude to the symphony of fall and winter. Football season is coming. Just 2 more days until Seahawks training camp begins.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
10-time MLB All-Star, 10-time Gold Glove Award winner, MLB single-season hit leader, a one-of-a-kind player.
And there it is. He's a new all-time hit king in Major League history, number 258.
Head to T-Mobile Park in August as the Mariners celebrate Ichiro's induction into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. The festivities kick off with a 3-day Ichiro Hall of Fame Funko Pop giveaway, Tuesday, August 5th through Thursday, August 7th. On Friday, August 8th, arrive early to score a 2004 Ichiro jersey like the one he wore when he broke the MLB single-season hit record. Saturday, August 9th, will feature Ichiro's pregame number retirement ceremony, and the first 20,000 fans on Sunday the 10th will take home a replica of his Cooperstown plaque. It's going to be legendary.
Oh, that front end is thrown by Ichiro. He threw something out of Star Wars.
Get your tickets at mariners.com/Ichiro.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Summer is the perfect time for a new roof. Take advantage of our easy financing, summer specials, and the best warranty in the business. Have a great summer. See you next hockey season. Trust Techline.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
Hi, my name is Jordan Gage, head of school at King Schools. Is tuition cost the number one thing keeping you from making the leap into Christian education? Did you know that King Schools awards over $2.3 million in tuition assistance every year? 25% of the families that make up this incredible Kings community utilize our variable tuition program to make Kings more accessible. The team at Kings would love to have you on campus for a tour and consultation to see how to make it possible for your family to experience the difference in Christian education at Kings.
Mention this ad and no application fee. Go to joinkings.org for more info.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Seattle Children's is leading the fight against pediatric cancer with groundbreaking research in immunotherapy. It reprograms a child's own T cells to hunt down and destroy cancer. It's hope, powered by science. But here's the truth. Pediatric cancer research is drastically underfunded. That's why Safeway is stepping up, and you can too. G. Scott here asking you to say yes to donating to ImmunoHeroes next time you're at Safeway checkout. Together, we can help fight cancer for all kidkind.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have that new car you've been looking for. With the power of choice, drive the sleek hybrid Camry leasing as low as $299 a month, the dependable Corolla, or the electric Prius leasing at just $309 a month. If you're headed to the ballpark or cruising I-5 from the north or the south, visit Toyota of Renton or Kirkland or shop online at toyotaofrenton.com and toyotaofkirkland.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Training camp, Brock. Starts to feel a little different.
It's here. It's training camp week, man.
You know, summer's over, but kind of in a good way. That excitement of like back to school, fall's going to be here, the NFL season will be with us before we know it.
Here's what's crazy, Michael, right? So I'm looking at the training camp. Kyle, our esteemed program director, sent us all the link to the calendar here of training camp. So they're there, right? I think everybody basically gets in today, physicals today and tomorrow, and then Wednesday they're on the field.
Yeah.
And then come Thursday, right, this Thursday, they will be exactly 2 weeks away from Pete Carroll's Raiders coming to town for preseason game number 1. That is how fast this calendar moves in the month of July and August.
Well, let's get to a guy who has plenty of insight on what's going on with the Seahawks team. It's ESPN's Brady Henderson, joins us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Good morning, Brady. Kind of an eventful weekend for the Seahawks, it seems like.
Oh, why? What happened? Did I miss something? I was on the golf course.
Great answer.
No, it was. It absolutely was. Yeah. I mean, certainly not a surprise that they moved on from Noah Fant. I think, a lot of people were either writing or talking about that, knowing that the contract was what it was and the production didn't quite live up to the contract. And all of a sudden they've got, a second-round pick, a guy with a pretty similar skill set in Elijah Arroyo. So I don't know if the writing was totally on the wall that it was going to happen for sure, but it certainly was not a surprise at all.
Hey, Brady, when the rookies reported last week, initially there were 6 guys that were put on that NFI list, right? Non-football injury, and then I think 4 of them quickly cleared that, and there's still a couple, and not a surprise with those guys and who they are. Is the Seahawk veterans now report and get into town today and start taking their physicals today and tomorrow? Do you expect any surprises as far as NFI or PUP or injuries that may pop up over the next 24, 48 hours?
Well, it's tough to predict that, Brock, because remember, so the non-football, the NFI stands for the non-football injury list. So, but when you see a guy put on the NFI list at the start of training camp, doesn't always necessarily mean that he suffered, some injury while training. One of the, functions of NFI is when a guy comes in, and if a team, like the Seahawks and a lot of other teams, if they require players to pass their physicals in order to start practicing, and if they don't do that, those guys could end up on the NFI list. And you saw that last year with a handful of guys, including Anthony Bradford, the 2 cornerbacks they drafted, Pritchett and DJ James, a few other guys. Remember, those guys failed their physicals, and that's why they ended up on NFI until they were able to pass those physicals. So hard to predict if there's going to be anybody on there. But I don't know of any other, injuries that happened that would naturally land a guy on NFI.
Hey, Brady, what does that Fant move signal to you about this tight end room? Not just the cost, it was an expensive salary, but now with just A.J. Barner as the only one that has been on this team and everything that we've heard about Elijah Arroyo, is that why this group was so high on him and wanted to draft him there, that they expect him to play a huge role right away on this team? Is that what it feels like to you?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both those guys, of Elijah Arroyo and A.J. Barner. And, Barner is the one that a lot of people are going to – Arroyo is going to be the one that a lot of people focus on just because he's the, 50th overall pick. And remember the name that Daniel Jeremiah gave, the name that flashed on the screen right when they drafted Arroyo in terms of like a veteran NFL comparison, it was Noah Fant. So you talk about a guy with a pretty similar skill set, roughly the same size, almost as fast as Noah Fant is, at least on paper. And so, I think, I don't think they would have done this had they not seen enough of Arroyo in the spring to think that this guy can step into a primary role. But, it's also remember that A.J. Barner scored 4 touchdowns last season as a rookie 4th-round pick, and that was, 3 more than Noah Fant has scored over the last 2 seasons combined. And so, Barner was sort of billed as this blocking tight end coming out of Michigan, and then all of a sudden, he's the most productive tight end for the Seahawks last season, at least in terms of touchdown catches. And so I think it's a combination of those 2 guys. I think the timing, you also look at the fact that, training camp is about to start and, you don't want to risk an injury. I think it also an injury that would obviously leave you on the hook for whatever they were going to owe Noah Fant this season at $8.49 million in base salary. And then, I think it also could signal that, they've got some extensions, an extension or 2 in the offing, or at least that they're working on, and that, even if they could make it work with the cap space, you still need that cash because when you sign a player to a big extension like some of these guys are in line for, that's a pretty big upfront cash payment, and all of a sudden, that $9 million that you would have had to pay Noah Fant, well, that comes in handy, for other players who are going to be in line for those extensions.
Y'all know the voice of Brady Henderson. You're going to hear that voice a whole lot more all over these airwaves in the next month or so as training camp gets going. And I know Mike's going to ask you about some of those possible guys to extend, but let me take it a little 30,000-foot level, Brady, as you start here training camp and you get to work in your little spot at that desk in that media room, and you just type out 2 or 3 of the biggest training camp storylines for Brady Henderson, who covers these Hawks every single day. What are the 2 or 3 biggest storylines heading into camp for these Seahawks?
Yeah, well, one I'll kind of gloss over because we'll talk about it, but it's who's going to get paid. And, they have, remember, the bill is about to come due for all the guys from that 2022 draft class who have been, so productive for them over the last 3 seasons. And so that is, I think, the first storyline. The second one is what else do they need on defense? And, I really like the analogy that you guys have used about the group of edge rushers and how you sort of liken it to a pitching rotation where you've got some pretty good number 2 and number 3 starters, but you don't really have that ace. And I still think, just with Uchenna Nwosu's situation, I haven't heard enough from them. They've been kind of mum about it, and they haven't really said a whole lot. And that kind of signals to me that there's a pretty serious question about whether or not he's going to be ready by the start of the season. And so it makes me wonder, could they be kicking around on some edge guys who are out there? And so, I think you feel pretty good about what the defense could be after finishing 9th in points allowed, bringing back pretty much every key starter or every key player from last year, making a couple nice additions into Marcus Lawrence and Nick Emanwari. But I still think there's maybe some work to be done to solidify the edge, especially with Nwosu's situation being what it is. And then I'll save the main one for last. It's Sam Darnold. I mean, how could it not be Sam Darnold? Look, we always sort of tend to default to the quarterbacks, and that's what I'll do here, and for good reason, because I think for as sensical as that pivot was from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold, for all the reasons I'm sure we've all talked about, whether it's getting younger, getting a little bit cheaper, getting a guy coming off a Pro Bowl season, getting a guy that, as we've talked about, I think they feel like is going to be a better leader than Geno Smith, for all the reasons you could point to and say, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. There's still that question of whether or not it's going to work. And, I just think that we tend to fall into this trap of thinking that players pick up where they left off. And the reality is that doesn't happen necessarily even when a guy is in the same setting, right? Even if Sam Darnold was still in Minnesota with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson, and he's got, Kevin O'Connell whispering, he's got the quarterback whisperer and Kevin O'Connell there. I don't think you could say that Sam Darnold necessarily would pick up where he left off. And so that's certainly not the case when he's coming into a whole new setting with a new offensive coordinator, a new head coach, new set of receivers that aren't quite at the level at what he was used to throwing to. So I think it's still this big question of how it's all going to come together. And, the one particular area of Sam Darnold's game that I'm going to be keyed in on during training camp is how quickly the ball comes out. And, he threw a couple interceptions over the spring, and I think a lot of people kind of fixated on that. And the reality is, look, who knows whose fault that was, right? Could that have been a receiver running the wrong route? Could that have been, whatever happening around him that wasn't really his fault? I think the thing that really stuck out to me more so than the couple interceptions was a lot of plays seemed to kind of die with him holding onto the ball. And if you look at his career, he's never been like a really quick release guy. He's had sort of one of the longer average times before throws since he's been in the NFL. And as we all know, that's when you have a kind of a iffy offensive line, that's a recipe for a guy getting hit and getting sacked a whole lot. So I'm going to be looking forward to seeing just how in rhythm he can play and how committed he can be to getting rid of the ball.
Brock, you know what? It sounds like Brady is agreeing with what some wise man once said about Sam Darnold and having some pressure on him this season. Brady, there might be someone on this show that said Sam Darnold is under the most pressure of any quarterback to get off to a fast start this season. Now, I don't know if you agree with that completely, how I feel, but with Darnold and with everything you just mentioned and the fact that you guys have broken down this contract and it's essentially a one-year deal if they want it to be, how much pressure do you think is on Darnold to get off to a fast start here?
I think probably less actual pressure than maybe perceived pressure because people on the outside kind of viewing the team, from the kind of view from afar would speculate that, they drafted a 3rd round pick on Jalen Milroe and, maybe he's kind of waiting in the wings as being the next guy. I don't think he's nearly as close to being ready to start as some people might think from afar. So perceived pressure versus actual pressure, I don't think there's as much actual pressure for him to get off to a fast start. But as you mentioned, he is playing for his job next season. And it's a 3-year, $100.5 million contract that because of the way the Seahawks structure contracts, and, Sam Darnold's contract wasn't like an outlier. This is just how they do their contracts where, for veteran contracts, they don't fully guarantee money beyond the first season. And what that does is it makes it a little easier for the team to move on after 1 year if the guy doesn't perform. And, what was true about Geno Smith's contract when he signed it a few years ago is also true about Darnold's, that, it gives them an out after one season. So yeah, in terms of like the season-long view, he's got to show that he's going to be the guy. But, if he struggles out of the gates, has a bad, first couple games, I don't think the Seahawks are going to be even thinking about pulling the plug on it and putting either Drew Lock or Jalen Milroe in there.
If storyline number one for Brady Henderson in this training camp that begins this Wednesday is extensions, give me the likelihood of those that could see deals get done and who you'd expect maybe first, second, and third in that pecking order.
Yeah, well, I mean, the name that I think a lot of people would probably assume would be Charles Cross, and I do think that they want to extend Charles Cross. I think they view him as a cornerstone kind of guy, and they've talked about maybe in the past not doing a good enough job of keeping the quality offensive linemen that they have, and they've let some guys go who have gone on to have pretty good careers after that. And look, he's your left tackle. You spent the 9th overall pick on him, and he's been, even if he hasn't been a Pro Bowl player, he's been a really good player, and he's still young, and he's got all that talent. And so I think there's a reasonable case that he's very much, an ascending player. And so that is one to keep an eye on. The thing about Cross is that he is signed for 2 more seasons. Remember, because they picked up the 5th-year option. So, he's signed. He's got the 4th year of his rookie deal coming up, and then he's got the 5th-year option that they've already picked up on top of that. So I would look at that and say, okay, if they're really far apart on a price, and I do think that, the recent extensions that the Jets gave Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson, both of those coming in at $30+ million, whatever it was, I think Cross's people, I'm guessing they would look at that and say, okay, that's kind of what that's what they're going to try to go for. I realize they play different positions, but they're all play premium positions, and they're all from the same draft class. And so I think that could be kind of what Cross's people look at. I don't know that. I'm just kind of speculating on that. And if you're the Seahawks and you're really far apart, well, you always know that, okay, there's maybe not the same level of urgency to get that deal done as you would if a guy was going into the last year of his deal, because, again, he's got 2 years left. The other guy I would keep an eye on is Kobe Bryant. And, again, another guy from that 2022 draft class who has really found a home at safety. And, maybe a few months ago, right after they drafted Nick Emanwori, I wouldn't have necessarily thought that, I really would have wondered about Kobe Bryant's, long-term future with the Seahawks going into the final year of his rookie contract. But I think 2 things have become clear since then. One is that, they plan to play Nick Emanwori at the second level and at nickelback, at least early on. And Mike McDonald has been pretty clear about that. The other thing that's become clear is just how much they seem to really love Kobe Bryant and everything about his mentality, his preparation, and just the way that he really took hold of that job last season. Remember, even before he became the starter, in week 7, he was playing well enough to force his way onto the field in sub packages. And so, they got better when Rayshon Jenkins went down and Kobe Bryant entered that starting lineup. But I think he has just continued to impress them this offseason. And so Kobe Bryant, maybe not on everybody's radar just because of the Nick Emanwori pick, but he's a guy I would definitely pay attention to as an extension candidate.
Brady, what about Abe Lucas, who is entering the final year of his deal as well? He is so good when he's healthy. He's an important part of that right side there. We know how important offensive tackles are. But if you're the Seahawks, what do you think they do? Is this wait and see to make sure he can get through this season?
Well, that would be the logical move, yeah. And I do think that, and that's always kind of what I've thought that they would do is just wait and see and give it one more year to see if that bulky knee is going to hold up. I will give you the other side of it, and I think there's maybe some validity to this, and I'll credit our guy Brian Nemhauser, Hawk Blogger, for making this point, which is that if they felt really good about where his knee was at and they felt like he's going to have a strong year, I think maybe there is a case to be made that you take kind of a flyer and you try to sign him now, knowing that you're buying low on a guy who, or you would be buying low on a guy who, okay, let's say he does stay healthy and he does play kind of like 2022 Abe Lucas, which, who flashed dominance at times. Okay, knowing what the market is for tackles, even right tackles, good young right tackles, if you wait a year and he has a great year, all of a sudden the cost to sign him jumps way up, and maybe that's upwards of, $15, $20 million. So the case to try to sign him right now would be you feel really good about where the knee's at, you feel like he's about to pop, and you know that buying low now is going to save you a whole lot of money compared to if you were to try to pay him next offseason. But, again, you'd be taking a gamble on that because we all know the pretty long injury history with his knee.
2 quick non-football questions, Brady. When Lefko comes paddleboarding up to your boat, and you don't have a door, obviously, does he hit the boat with the paddle? Does he yell at you ahead of time? How exactly does he communicate when he comes up to your mega yacht?
Well, I do have a door. Like, I don't just jump into the boat. There's not like a hatch, like a submarine hatch. So there is a door.
It's not open air.
But he would have to get on, from the stern. He would have to get to the stern. There's a little swim step there. So, so what's funny is I've been meaning to ask Lefko about this. I was leaving my place in a hurry the other day, and I saw someone on a paddleboard, and I heard someone whistle at me. And I was like, is that guy on the paddleboard whistling at me? Could that be Lefko? But I was in a hurry, so I didn't have time to stop. So, Lefko, was that you? Did you whistle at me?
No, I don't whistle. I just come right up there and wave at you. You'll know if I'm there.
He just
okay.
Yeah, he just kind of hangs out and waits for me to see him out the window. So, I'm glad I didn't stand you out.
You're fine. We make it seem like this is an every time occurrence. Brock is just fascinated with all the paddleboard.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, that helps.
Outings there. Yeah.
Question number 2, a little more football centric in training camp as it's getting going this week. What lunch meal are you most looking forward to the Seahawks cooking you and the rest of the media?
Yeah, I mean, if it's free, I'm eating it. And I'm grateful for it. So,
and it's really good. I mean, let's be really, really, really clear. Lefko, Bob, Wyman, you guys get all these free lunches, amazing food. Your show's down there, and they don't mess around upstairs. Like that food that you guys eat is not leftover scraps. It's good stuff. So, what is your favorite meal that they have for lunch?
Yeah, and I imagine that's not the case across all 32 teams. They do have some good food there. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, there's not like one consistent thing that they always make that I really look forward to. But honestly, it's really good and it's free. And like sports writers, if there's anything you know about sports writers, is that we love staying at Marriott hotels. We love flying the same airline because you hate to ever lose the points or the miles. And we love free food. So
yeah, and I would say this
whatever they're serving, I love it.
In all sincerity, and you know this, I mean, maybe you don't know it explicitly because you haven't lived a life of a Bengals training camp or a Colts training camp in Terre Haute or an Arizona Cardinals training camp where they make their players pay for their own lunch. Like, the Seahawks are first class. That facility is first class. That berm is rocking, everything they do and taking care of you guys, the environment. Like, it really is done as well as anybody in all the NFL. And I know it's a grind, Brady. I'm looking at the calendar here. It's Wednesday, and it is a grind. But there is kind of a first-class nature to the way this organization goes about it.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt, and that's what I meant by saying I don't know if that's necessarily the case across all 32 teams. I don't even know if the majority of 32 teams feed the reporters who cover the team during training camp. So look, even if the food was bad, one of the rules I abide by in life is you don't get to complain about things that are free. So, but the food in this case happens to be really good. So,
That's
one of the perks of covering Seahawks training camp.
That's great. Good one to end on. I'm glad we ended with the hard-hitting questions about paddleboard etiquette and free food.
Well, no, you can if you have another hard-hitting question.
I mean, I can't really get back to a hard-hitting question after that. So we'll wait. We'll see Brady. You mentioned he'll be on our shows plenty of times. So Brady, thanks for all the insight today. I will not whistle at you if I see you out there on the water, but I will try to make myself known. Maybe I'll drop off some snacks since, hey, if it's free, you're not going to complain. So I will come bearing treats if I do see you.
There you go. Well, you always know, Lefko, the fridge is stocked. If you ever want to pop in and help yourself to anything, go right ahead.
Oh, that deserves a whistle. All right, Brady, thanks. I appreciate the time. We'll talk to you later.
All right, see you guys.
All right, Brady Henderson. Yeah, it gets going. There are long days there, though. You're right, Brock. Those are long days for the players, for everyone covering it out there. And this isn't even the two-a-days. Like, Dave Wyman will talk about it. You had those, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You had two-a-days.
Oh, my gosh.
All right. Out at Terre Haute? You were at Old Rose Hall?
Yeah, there was two-a-days in Terre Haute. There was two-a-days in Cheney. So when I was last century, when I started my NFL career, we started first day of training camp. So first day for these Seahawks is Wednesday. And honestly, they've done a lot of mini camp practices and OTAs and all of that. And there's so much, it's just so much different in this day and age, right? They gear up to it. I think the first day is in helmets. Then there's shoulder pads. They limit the amount of padded practices. There are no padded two-a-days. Mike Lefko, my very first training camp practice in Cheney, Washington, exactly 26 years ago, almost to the day. Very first practice, full pads, full pads, full live scrimmage. Mike Holmgren at the end of it was like, we're going live. Like Bill O'Reilly. We're going live. We'll do it live. And all of a sudden, these veterans like Mike Pritchard and Ricky Waters were like, we're doing what? On the first day? And I think Jason McIndoe was my center. I don't think it. I know it. And he and I fumbled the very first exchange I had in the very first live rep. And it was like, oh, my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? Yeah, very, very different NFL, very different pacing, but the same thing is common. It comes at you in a hurry, right? Just when you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, and then all of a sudden Wednesday is going to come, and this calendar is going to fly by with, again, the Raiders just 2 weeks from this Thursday at the old CenturyLink Field.
Yeah, I know there's a discussion to be had about whether there's enough time on the field. You're just trying to balance player safety and wellness against, like you were saying, you get all those padded practices, you get up to speed quicker. And we've seen at times that slow start to a season for these teams. So there's that back and forth and that debate. Okay, do they have enough actual on-field time? So I'm curious to see how that evolves, because there is that pushback of, is there enough time to get a new system in place, especially with this Seahawks offense? Sure. Brand new on offense for all these guys. But there's not necessarily as much time.
Let me just say definitively, my answer to that is no.
Time on task, like you say, right?
Yeah, time on task, and you've got to callous yourself. And there's something to, and they always say this, man, that you can't get in football shape unless you play football. And that's not just conditioning. You can do all the conditioning you want and run, and sure, you can have your cardiovascular tank, but I'm talking about your pad level. I'm talking about your hitting. I'm talking about the comfort level you have, again, with just that amount of contact that comes at you, and you know that comes at you. But the flip side, hey, man, it's a 20-game season. We have 17 regular season games and 3 preseason games, and can you really afford to callous that body and hit the way they do? Yeah, it's going to be imperative for Coots, for Brady Russell, for Arroyo, for even A.J. Barner in year number 2, for, these young guys are going to be playing on the line of scrimmage, Gray Zabel, whatever the old line configuration, that these guys get up to speed in a hurry. And as I said, man, it all kicks off here. Right now, the guys are down there taking their physicals, getting ready to go, and Wednesday on the field with you, the public, out there as well.
Yeah, that will be a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll be out there on Wednesday and then pretty much every day for the next couple of weeks until that game against the Raiders. So plenty to come from the VMAC and from Seahawks training camp over these next few weeks. But the immediacy, Brock, is the Mariners. Huge series against the Brewers that starts tonight. We'll kind of project what to expect out of one key player from this Mariners team over this next stretch before the trade deadline and then over these final months of the season. That's coming up next here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
The biggest scuba sale in America starts Thursday at Underwater Sports in North Seattle. Clearance prices on masks, regulators, computers, fins, tanks, BCs, free photo and video seminars, free fitting, and incredible savings on a custom-fit dry suit. Big savings on beginner, advanced, and specialty classes. Underwater Sports' 47th Annual Divers Fair starts this Thursday at the North Seattle Underwater Sports Store, 107th and Aurora Avenue North. Don't miss the biggest scuba sale in America.
Upgrade your heat pump or air conditioner right now and save up to 25% during Home Comfort Alliance Warehouse Clearance Sale. All remaining 2024 heat pumps and air conditioners are now up to 25% off. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
If it's game day or any day, Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are your MVPs for trucks and SUVs. Experience the power of choice with the Tundra at 1.99% APR for 72 months. The Tacoma leasing at $299 a month. The all-electric BZ4X with 0% APR and the RAV4 leasing at just $319 a month. Find that all-star lineup at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Does your building company have a strong website? One with a solid organic search presence, engaging prospects, and filling your pipeline? You know, a site that speaks loud about your company. I'm Rusty George. My local agency specializes in creating websites and marketing strategies for building companies, including construction, manufacturing, and material suppliers. We develop strategies and tactics to attract and win more quality business. See how we can help your business get louder at rustygeorge.com. That's rustygeorge.com.
The countdown is on.
2 more days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Been a good start to the Monday so far.
Good little Monday.
Say so far, Brock. I mean, we got some room to improve. Always trying to get better. 1 minute at a time. One topic at a time. So we're getting there.
When the Sonics, not Mariners, not Seahawks, Sonics, when the Sonics were wearing that logo that's on your T-shirt,
yeah,
where were you in life?
Well, this was the glory days of the 90s, right?
Correct.
I was a child, yeah.
And
I was growing up in peak basketball fandom in Indiana. But the 90s were fantastic for basketball.
Yes.
How do you not love everything that happened in the 90s in the NBA?
That's right. And Sean Kemp was an Indiana high school guy.
Yeah.
I've told the story before. Damon and I were watching the McDonald's, or not even, National High School championship game. and this guy from Indiana's on. I'm like, pull out one of Dad's VHS tapes, and I don't care what's on it. We're recording over this taped football game because we got to watch this guy. I've never seen anything like this guy, like Sean Kemp. So, yeah, you're wearing a pretty cool logo today, and that was a pretty good era of basketball, no question.
Yeah, now, I mean, they're still around. They're great. Great to see Sean Kemp and Garrett Payton still prominent figures in this community, as most of the Sonics are. That's what's kind of cool is that, you know, with the Seahawks and with the Sonics, a lot of these guys, they have just still made this their home. And they're an integral part of the community. And so I think the importance of getting the Sonics back soon is that these guys are still around. Some of the older ones who, sadly, some have passed away now in the past few seasons. So to have that core from the 70s and then the fun, high-flying era of the 90s of Sonics basketball, it's not going to be much longer where all these people are still around, still living in Seattle, and still a part of the fabric of this sports community. So, yeah, I mean, I will keep wearing these shirts because the logos are awesome. I have a green one, too. Maybe I'll rock that on Wednesday.
That'd be good.
You can't go back-to-back with the same kind of team. So
wear a little Mariners something after the, take care of business tonight against the Brewers and win their 6 of 7 and stay hot. And, put on a little Mariners something for me tomorrow.
Okay, we're going to plan our outfits?
Sure, we'll do that. That's what happens when we get that new tech. We get the Mike's Lefko back on the text stream. These are the kind of conversations we start to have.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. It's nice to have Brock to respond to my texts now instead of usually I just text him and there's no response. So, persona non grata until you're hosting with him.
He complains that Lyle and I do that to him.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
so what are these Mariners going to do, Mr. Lefko? What do you want them to do right now?
Here's what I want to get your thoughts on: is that the Mariners have potential to be a team that can be very good in the second half. And it depends on a few things. It depends on who they add to the trade deadline. It depends on Cal Raleigh continuing to show what he did in the first half. Maybe that stretch from Arozarena, this ridiculous 10 home runs in the past 14 games. If he has something similar to that hot stretch. If J.P. Crawford continues to do what he's been doing, you get some more length with the young guys like Cole Young, who has been incredible lately. 7-game hit streak and some more power for Cole Young. Ben Williamson has been solid. But it also depends on Julio. It always has, and it always will kind of hinge on that X factor of Julio finding that almost patented breakout stretch over the back half of the season, like he has done the post-All-Star break. Daniel Kramer of MLB.com had a good breakdown on Julio, and he actually mentioned that the recent signs of progress you saw in that Tiger series, well, Julio has started to work with Kevin Seitzer and with Cal Raleigh on a drill that Cal had been doing since spring training to really work on elevating the ball. And we didn't see it as much in this past series against the Astros, but it was at the forefront when Julio had those 3 home runs against the Tigers. It's an interesting drill. So they put the tee chest high, and then the goal is that Cal had been working on, and now Julio, when you swing through, according to the article by Daniel Kramer, to work on that verticality on the follow-through to get the ball in the air. And with Julio, that's been the issue, right? He hits the ball hard. He has continued to hit the ball hard this year, but just on the ground. And you know what can happen when someone who can swing that fast and can hit the ball that hard gets the ball in the air. So if that Julio comes to life in the second half, I think it's big things for the Mariners.
Couple things here jump out to me on that, Mike. And you're not wrong on this. It is the All-Star break. It is the first half. It is the second half. But from a numbers perspective, the reality is by the time we get to the trade deadline here in 10 days, it'll be the final third. It's actually a third. They're at 99 games. Today will be their 100th game. So it's always a bit deceiving to me. And again, I'm kind of picking nits and in no way picking on you because it's how everybody characterizes it, the first half and the second half.
Oh, no, I've been on a fight to outlaw second half. I've tried to think of a term and just nothing sticks. Gotcha. I've tried like Act 1 and Act 2, Part 1, Part 2.
Yeah. Because this is really, honestly, baseball is much more of a third than it is any first half and second half. It's the third you get to Memorial Day, right? And then it's the third you get to just past or to the trade deadline. And then it is the final home stretch of the season, the final 50-game sprint. That's where you are. Secondly, when it comes to putting the ball in the air, the fact that it is warming, the fact that T-Mobile is a different ballpark in late July and August and September than it is when you put that ball in the air in March and in April and May. It just those are the hard facts. So if indeed, because the one thing that's really missing this year, Mike, honestly, is look at Julio's home road splits. They are as staggering as they've ever been in his career. And that obviously Detroit series even bolstered it that much more. I mean, very, very different. So Nice to at least see him get some knocks on that stat sheet in that Houston series. Couple singles yesterday and put some base hits together. But getting the ball in the air at this time of the year in Seattle is not a bad recipe either.
And one thing we haven't even mentioned, that Alex Avila, MLB Network, they were breaking down their second half teams, a choice to kind of break out or be the surprise of the second half. He picked the Mariners, and it's really reliant on that pitching getting back to form.
Well, I'm gonna go with the team that should be a surprise because I think they're going to go on a bit of a run. So I'm going to go with the Mariners. We've been talking about the Mariners a little bit more, obviously, because what Riley's been doing, but every year it's always like they're pitching. They don't have enough offense. Yeah. This year they finally have the offense that's worthy of being a playoff team, and the pitching has kind of taken a step back. You're going to have Kirby back now. You're going to have Gilbert back, so that's a boost along with what Woo's been doing all year.
Munoz nasty.
They have a really good bullpen. Yeah. So if their pitching starts to pitch at the level that they have been over the last few years and what everyone is expecting of them, with the offense that they have now, that's a very dangerous team.
I agree.
And again, Mike, when you look at the urgency of these numbers, you know what the reality is? Logan and George have about 11 or 12 starts. In the regular season. I mean, so every one of these is just kind of magnified as the urgency ramps up, as the season that begins is such an unbelievably long marathon. And what do games in April and May really mean? Well, you get to this time of the year before the deadline, and you come out of the deadline with a 50-game sprint. They mean a lot. They mean a lot, especially when you're in that wild card mix that the Mariners are, and especially taking 2 or 3 from Houston, you're only down 4. You're not down 7 or 8 as you were just a couple weeks ago. You're down 4 with a very beat-up Houston team that, honestly, to my eye, looked pretty mortal. That team that was in there got some good players, got some good young bats. Christian Walker looks like a different guy than he was in April and May when we saw him. But that is not the Houston Astros with Alvarez out and Pena out. And, I mean, there's a lot of pieces and Band-Aids and glue. And, yeah, man, it is go time for these Mariners and a really difficult test coming in tonight.
Yeah, I'm fascinated what we see out of Kirby tonight. And then I'm pretty excited for Logan Gilbert tomorrow. Yeah. You were the optimistic one earlier. I'm going to be the optimistic one now. Logan Gilbert has had very short outings. He hasn't had an outing over 6 innings since returning from injury, but he has started to put it together. And there are signs there. That game against the Tigers, 2 unearned runs, and then the start against the Yankees, the first part of it, before the rain delay really upended everything, he looked sharp. He looked like you could see the old Logan was about to break through. So in this start, his first start after some extended rest with the All-Star break, if he comes out like the opening night Logan, like the Logan Gilbert that was an All-Star that got named that opening night starter, that's what I'm optimistic about. So that's Tuesday night. George Kirby tonight. It's a huge start to the series against the Brewers, a team that has won 10 straight. How's Robin Yount playing? Yeah, when's the last time you watched him in a game?
You know what is weird, man? The Brewers are a team, and there's a few of them in baseball, White Sox, Marlins. Like, how many Brewers can you name? Like, how many, as good as they've been, I know they're young guns and their pitching's phenomenal. Like, how many Brewers players in their lineup, without looking at it, can you name off the top of your head?
Rowdy Tellez. No, he's not there anymore.
No.
He hit a home run. Did you see Rowdy hit a home run against the Rangers?
20 games over 500. I did see that. Yeah. 20 games over 500. And who are they? Who is this Brew crew even coming in?
I mean, do you want me to just start rattling off names?
No. Yelich is there. He's a guy somewhere at some point. No, they have players. They have good guys. They have young guys
really good
that are
ball,
good.
Man.
Yeah.
They're playing really, really good baseball.
All right, we'll have Lyle name the entire Brewers lineup when we come back, and everything else you need to know here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
MLB Network insider John Morosi every week with Wyman and Bob.
Can they do enough at the trade deadline?
They don't have to necessarily be in first place by the end of July, but you need to show the front office that this team is worth adding to. But they need to show you more from guys who are not named Cal Raleigh. I'd be paying very close attention. Emerson, Young, Celestin, to see who potentially could be the one that they move.
See the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Best decisions I've ever made in my life. I went to K2 Vision for refractive lens exchange. Now, I'm somebody who struggled with up-close vision. I couldn't read restaurant menus. I couldn't read receipts. I couldn't read the text on my phone. I had this crazy large font on there. I put the readers away. I went to K2 Vision, and I'm actually reading some of what I'm saying to you right now. I couldn't do that before. It's amazing. So if you're like me, you struggle with distance vision, or you always need a pair of glasses, K2 Vision RLE is quick. It's absolutely painless, and I am seeing great without glasses or readers. readers, RLE's a game changer. I'm excited to spend my good active years not needing reading glasses. K2 Vision RLE gave me great vision that, more importantly, is permanent. The doctors at K2 Vision have performed over 150,000 lens procedures, so they know when RLE is right for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE, no readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we don't just promise to get the job done, we back it up. No travel charge, no show-up fee, no overinflated pricing, and no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional each and every day. O'Neill Plumbing.
Upgrade your view and comfort with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Buy one window or door, get the second at 50% off through July, and enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. For details, visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Whether you're building a single roof or a successful roofing business, roofing contractors like you need the right tools for the job, and software is no exception. Service Titan is on a mission to be the most powerful software platform for the trades, with purpose-built technology proven to maximize revenue, streamline operations, and deliver 5-star customer experiences. We are taking roofing companies like yours to the next level and beyond. Service Titan, we are built for this. See what we can do for roofers at servicetitan.com.
If something happens to you, what happens to your family? Will they struggle financially? Will they be able to afford the home you built together? With Ethos, you can get life insurance coverage in minutes. Get up to $2 million in coverage for as little as $2 a day. All online with no medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Rates may vary. Build monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Summer is in full swing, and T-Mobile Park is the hottest spot in Seattle.
Randy Arozarena, his 4th home run in the last 3 games, and he is high-stepping all the way to 3rd.
Don't miss out on special events like the next Mariners Fireworks Night on Friday, August 1st, presented by T-Mobile. Cal Raleigh and the crew are taking on the division rival Rangers at 7:10, and after the final out, we'll be lighting up the sky with an epic post-game show. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
Holy smokes, what a firecracker! Upper deck number 34 for the big number.
Go to Mariners.com to lock in your seats and check out what's on deck at the ballpark, including Aloha Shirt Day, Saturday, August 2nd. Plus, be here for more can't-miss post-game events. The Mariners Drone Show is August 22nd, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the final fireworks night of the season is September 12th. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
DayandNight.net.
You got a pipe with a leak, water's reaching its peak.
DayandNight.net.
Your old water heater, she's starting to peter.
DayandNight.net.
The throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
DayandNight.net.
Have a clogged drain, water heater issue, or plumbing repair, and wish you could get a second opinion? Maybe it's sticker shock, or you'd like to know your options. Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Don't feel trapped. Do the smart thing and get a second opinion. Day and Night will provide you with a fair and honest quote, explain all your options, and help you with the right solution. Give us a call or visit dayandnight.net. I guarantee you, whether Day and Night is your first choice or smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
DayandNight.net.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Mariners start a series tonight against the Milwaukee Brewers, the hottest team in baseball right now. They come in on a 10-game win streak. Brock, when you were trying to name the Brewers lineup, or just name anyone on the Brewers, it took me back. So we played this game back in 2021 on our show. I did it with Wyman and Robert Turbin, who was filling in. It was called Name a Houston Texan, because the Seahawks were about to play them in the midst of what was a terrible Texans team, and we just went around and tried to name Houston Texans. We didn't do very well. That made me think of this Brewers team.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, there are not household names. Yelich is obviously a name that's familiar, been very productive in the league, but even Willie Adames would have been somebody I would have said, oh, he signed a mega deal with the Giants in the offseason, and they have built it and kind of done it the Mariner way, draft and develop their own with some blue chippers that have now emerged. And man, these pitching matchups, Mr. Lefko, I know you want to go to the park and everybody loves to see home runs and everybody loves to see offense, but these sure smell and feel like a 3-2, 4-3. I mean, these are just some primo talents that are going to be taking the hill for really both teams over the next couple nights.
Yeah, it's George Kirby and Brandon Woodruff tonight, 6:40 first pitch. Pregame coverage at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports. So always you can tune in here for that. Jacob Mizorowski, who has been the little phenom who has captivated the baseball world over these past few starts that he's made. Just 5 starts to his name and named an all-star. So he gets the ball for the Brewers, the big right-hander, on Tuesday alongside Logan Gilbert. And then Quinn Priester for the Brewers on Wednesday, Luis Castillo for the Mariners. He always seems to pitch in that Wednesday finale, it feels
He's
like.
pitched good at home.
He's pitched really well at home. Outdueled Tarek Skubal at home early in the season.
Yes, he did, and started this whole series with, 6 shutout innings on Friday night to beat those Astros and win that series and put you in the position they're in right now.
Well, Brock, I want to get into one strange dynamic, though. We're going to talk about it with Gambo coming up at 9:30. John Gambadoro from Arizona Sports, our sister station down there. He hosts the Drive Time show. The Diamondbacks are kind of playing their way out of being sellers, or at least that's the belief and mindset of their team. They've won 4 straight. Eugenio Suarez hit 4 home runs in the past 2 games. They host the Astros for 3. So it's a win-lose or win-win, depending on how you want to look on it. Maybe even a lose-lose, because you're chasing the Astros. Mariners are 4 games back. If the Astros lose, great. But then the Diamondbacks are winning. They're going to be above 500. If the Diamondbacks lose, then the Astros get further out of reach. Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah,
what do you do?
I can't root for the Astros, especially after seeing. I really don't like those guys.
And Lyle disagrees with you.
I know he does.
Wholeheartedly. Yeah.
I know he does.
All right, so that's a big stakes for the Mariners and the Astros this week in these next 3 games.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
We talked about this with Brady Henderson at 8:30. Some good breakdowns from Brady, but the Seahawks released Noah Fant yesterday. Moved on from his second highest salary cap hit on the team, $13.41 million. They get $8.9 million after taking some dead cap on, but that money. You try to project where it could go. You guys are talking about some potential areas of need at maybe edge rusher, offensive line. That always seems to be a place that you could bring in another veteran. And then that 2022 draft class with all these contract extensions coming up. Elijah Arroyo did sign his contract. He is going to be in camp along with everyone else. They're fully signed. I do just want to play this, Brock. I thought it was very funny because Brady mentioned it, and then it reminded me that Daniel Jeremiah came on with you guys right after the draft. He had given that Noah Fant comparison for Elijah Arroyo, and Salk wanted more of an explanation about that.
But a motivated Noah
so not
Fant.
really like Noah Fant.
Talent-wise, movement-wise, he looks like Noah Fant. Noah Fant could really, really run. So this happens all the time, by the way, during the draft, is that you see comps go to teams where you had them, compared. But he's someone, he just hasn't been healthy.
Who, Noah or Arroyo?
Arroyo, right?
Oh, both of them.
Both of them, yeah.
Pretty good comp,
There's the comp. Yeah, so Fant out and Arroyo in here.
Body beautiful, super dynamic guys, athletic, straight line guys, but you were not going to pay Noah Fant $8.9 million. They tried to trade him over the last couple months. It was like the worst kept secret out there. We had talked about it, speculated about it, people wrote about it, and you were just not going to now put him on the field. And that's why ultimately the contract is terminated, because as they hit the field on Wednesday, you are not going to run the risk of a hamstring, a knee, something happening that forces you to pay that $8.9 million. So they make the move, and as Brady said, I'm kind of curious. Outside of Nwosu, I don't know if there's other guys that should start on this pup. That's kind of the next newsy stuff to really watch for. The physically unable to perform. Abe Lucas should be full go as he was the entire OTA season. Ken Walker should no longer be limited. Guys that kind of babied through the OTA season should really hit the ground running in less than 48 hours to camp.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Scotty Scheffler continued his reign over the golf world. 4-shot victory at the British Open last night. Second major of the season for Scheffler and the fourth of his career. He now just needs a U.S. Open to complete the career Grand Slam. But Brock, now all the attention, well, certainly in the golf world, turns to the Ryder Cup at the end of September. Back on U.S. soil, a tough defeat, really thorough beatdown for the Americans in 2023 on European soil. This feels like, you know why people love the Ryder Cup? It feels like the most football event on the golf calendar.
Yeah.
It's a team event, and people get raucous. You have crowds cheering. You have this mano-a-mano aspect of it, of team versus team, instead of just one guy. You're going out there against the field. It's not that head-to-head like you get here.
And you know what else I think plays a role in it, Mike? The combatants and the competitors care.
Yeah.
There is a high care factor for those Europeans and for the Americans, especially when they're on opposing soil. Like, they really are invested. And I was thinking about the WNBA All-Star Game Saturday night, and I was like, what? It was just a year ago that it was Caitlin Clark. Remember, she got snubbed? And it was Caitlin Clark and the rest of the
team,
snubs versus the Olympic team, and it was all out. Our girl, Kelsey Plum, was in Caitlin's shorts 94 feet away. Like, effort, want to, care factor. The WNBA All-Star Game Saturday night, pathetic. It looked like the NBA All-Star Game. Like, no defense, 4-point shot. Even Paige Beckers was like, yeah, I don't think Gino Auriemma would enjoy this product. No, he would not. No, nobody likes it when nobody's really invested and cares about the competition. The Ryder Cup, they certainly do.
Yeah, and you saw that with hockey. I know a big hockey fan you are,
That's
but when
right.
they canceled their All-Star break and they canceled their All-Star game, they turned into that Four Nations tournament. All the fights, the passion between Canada and the U.S. team. So there was a fervor there. There was a
Gotta have a care factor,
passion.
man. People, Molly and I were talking about that Saturday night. Like, if you want people to watch, tune in and watch, you've got to be like, I'm going to invest my time. You're not going to watch something that people are not invested in performing. Like, just kind of go through the motions. Kind of lip sync. Kind of not play defense. And that's the opposite of John Gambadoro. Turn on his afternoon show, Left Go, and it is fire.
Yeah?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I think I've talked about this before. That's everything you need to know. Thank you, Lyle, for continuing to play the music. That is everything you need to know. I've said before, like, a show swap would be a pretty fascinating deal between our sister station down in Phoenix and us. If Salk and Gambo were together for 4 hours, I think that they could choke each other out. I think it would be verbally, not physically, just verbally trying to win. It would be pretty remarkable radio. Not short on opinions. And you know what else he is, Mike? Honestly, super, super connected. Mike Hazen, the GM there with Arizona, Gambo, like, he, over his decades there, has done a phenomenal job of building connective tissue with the difference makers and decision makers. So I'm kind of excited to talk to Gambo.
Yeah, he joins us next here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and summertime, obviously these next couple days are going to be very hot. This is about as big a heat wave as you're going to get, and so it might be really warm in your house right now. If it is, and like warmer than it should be, it might be because you don't have enough insulation, right, in your crawl space, in your attic most specifically. And if that's a problem, well, you got to get Crawl Pros to come out and take a look. They'll do a full corner-to-corner inspection. And if that's what they find is a problem, you're actually in luck because utility companies have special incentives to help with the cost right now, especially Puget Sound Energy. If you're a customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yeah, 95%. So don't wait. Call Crawl Pros. Figure out what's going on behind that crawl space or attic for free. If you're worried about water damage, mold, insulation, critters, issues, anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's back to school season, and Clorox is donating 2 million disinfecting wipes to classrooms across America. Because back to school means things can get a little bit messy. Just ask second grade teacher Mr. Torres.
Put me and just one Clorox wipe on a team, we can take on crayon smudges, sticky fingerprints on every surface, sneezes on the door handle, juice box explosion by the sink, snack crumbs, and don't even get me started on the bathroom passes.
Clorox disinfecting wipes, teacher's #1 wipe.
Think about it. Bathroom passes.
Clean feels good. Based on unit sales data.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we don't just promise to get the job done, we back it up. No travel charge, no show-up fee, no overinflated pricing, and no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional each and every day. O'Neill Plumbing.
Introducing frequent flights between Boeing Field and a private terminal at Portland Airport. Seaport Airlines is transforming travel with convenience, comfort, and free parking just steps from your plane. It's about time. Book today at flyseaportair.com.
Do you find yourself searching the medicine cabinet for pills and sprays during allergy season? How about having to buy one more medication when the season hits? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We offer a solution that will save you time, money, and frustration. Rynair is a simple, minimally invasive procedure that significantly reduces postnasal drip and stuffiness. We're taking new patients in Federal Way and in Auburn. Come see us. Book your appointment at sternsinus.com.
If it's game day or any day, Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are your MVPs for trucks and SUVs. Experience the power of choice with the Tundra at 1.99% APR for 72 months. The Tacoma leasing at $299 a month. The all-electric BZ4X with 0% APR and the RAV4 leasing at just $319 a month. Find that all-star lineup at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
O'Brien.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
At 65 years old, Brian has a rather demanding hobby.
My biggest passion is snow skiing, and I ski between 70 and 80 days per year. And I ski instruct at a private resort in Montana.
Needless to say, that can be a bit tough on the joints.
When this knee started to bother me, I thought I'm doomed.
That's when Brian decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
If I did yard work or skied a few days in a row, I was fighting swelling and pain and no sleep and all sorts of problems, and that has absolutely gone away.
So are you back on the slopes?
I mean, I had a 14-day stretch with clients where I skied every day and had no problem. It was fine. It was just like, I felt like new.
So I'm guessing you would recommend this to others.
Oh, I already have. I've told everyone that'll listen.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
It's really, truly a miracle.
Want to cut your home energy bills, breathe cleaner air, and improve comfort? The answer, AeroSeal from Home Comfort Alliance. This advanced process seals leaks in your ductwork, improving efficiency and air quality. Normally $2,500. Right now, for PSC customers, get AeroSeal for as little as $99 when they install a furnace or heat pump. Plus, save up to 25% on remaining 2024 heat pumps and air conditioners from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com today.
So why don't you speed?
I've had one too many close calls on the road, and then I learned the facts.
It's dangerous to drive too fast.
It's true. 1 in 3 fatal crashes involve speeding.
Most people try to be safe, but speeding is dangerous.
You know, the faster you go, the longer it takes to stop.
The faster you drive, the harder you'd hit someone. Slower speeds save lives.
Please drive the speed limit so everyone is safe. Learn more at togetherwegetthere.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, Brock, there's a lot going on involving sports happening out in Arizona. We certainly always like to talk about the Cardinals, get a preview of what's going on there. The Diamondbacks are making some noise, so we thought, who better to have on than a guy that I know you guys have on a good amount here, John Gambadoro, Gambo, our sister station's host, The Drive Time, Burns and Gambo on Arizona Sports. Gambo, how's it going this morning?
Mike, how are you? Brock, my old friend, how are you doing?
We're doing good. And then the Suns, is there speculation the Suns are coming to Seattle to become the Sonics? Is that what I'm hearing as well, or no?
Oh my God! No, but thank God we finally got off of Kevin Durant. Man, that was a disaster of 2.5 years with Kevin Durant. I'm so happy he's gone.
Yeah, that didn't bring you any championships or anything like that. So what is going on, man? I know
It didn't even bring us a playoff win.
Not even a playoff run. I know. I said
not even a win.
Gambo, I said to Lefko before you hopped on here, kind of teasing you popping on with us. You've been in that market a long time. You're as connected as anybody in a market that I know in all of sports talk radio all across the country. You know these Diamondbacks and Mike Hazen and that crew. You guys are the sister station. You're out there in spring training. What is your gut feeling 10 days before the trade deadline? Do you anticipate them moving from a bunch of rental contracts that come due here after 50 games?
Yeah. Well, now listen, not only for my show today, but also knowing I was going to be on with you guys, I did speak with the Diamondbacks today, and what I could tell you is that even after the sweep, even after sweeping the St. Louis Cardinals, they are still more sellers than buyers. Now, if they sweep the Astros, things may change. The problem is they're 4.5 games out, Brock, but there's 4 teams ahead of them. They've got to pass 4 teams in order to get into a playoff spot with 60 games left. They're devastated with injuries to starting pitching and bullpen. So as of today, even after the sweep, I wanted to know, you swept the Cardinals. Do you think you're more in it now? I'm still being told that they are more sellers than they are buyers. So they could have a field day because they've got about 4 or 5 really good players that they could move for prospects.
Isn't that a fascinating dynamic? Because we just talked about the quotes that Eugenio Suarez said after the game yesterday. We want to put pressure on the front office that group is excited about how they're playing, but it's not practical. I get that at times. So the front office has to make a calculated decision. So if something like this happens, like a tear down, if you will, and they start to sell off these guys, how do you think that goes over in the clubhouse? Or, does that something that it doesn't matter, and the front office has to keep those feelings separate from a practical decision?
Yeah, Mike, I think it's hard, right? Because the fan base wants to try and win. This team was in the World Series just a couple of years ago. Last year, they ended up in a 3-way tie for a playoff spot and lost a tiebreaker. So there's been a lot of excitement about Diamondbacks baseball. The owner is committed to spending. He spent more money on this team the last 2 years than ever has been spent on the team. The deal is that these guys are all expiring contracts, right? They're not going to be trading players that are under contract for the next 3 or 4 years. They're going to be trading guys that have expiring contracts. Geno Suarez, expiring contract. Josh Naylor, expiring contract. Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, expiring contracts. So I think it's a little bit different than trading a guy that's got 4 years left on his deal. They're not trading that type of player. They're trading a guy that they may not even be able to bring back next year anyway. So that's where I think it actually makes a lot of sense.
Expired. You're like that ant in that commercial. Expired. So if you guys taken a look, if you kind of made that decision, you and Bernsey and the rest of the hosts down there in Arizona, I wonder which organization, if we are wanting to trade some of these expiring contracts, Are you as excited about the Seattle Mariners as the Seattle Mariners seem to be, especially our fans and our shows, excited about the Diamondbacks?
Yeah, I actually like the Seattle teams, right? I mean, my hatred is the LA teams, and being a New York guy, I always hate the Red Sox.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't mind Seattle at all. I'd love to see the Yankees get Gino. Brock, Gino is on a tear right now. 2 home runs yesterday, 2 home runs Saturday. He's on pace to hit 57 home runs. Now, the thing is, he just turned 34 years old. He's probably going to get a 3-year deal from somebody for $20 to $25 million a year in free agency. So, but you don't worry about that now. What you worry about is he is the number one target for a lot of teams. The Yankees want him. The Cubs want him. There's Seattle. So, you're going to be able to parlay him into some good prospects. We're not talking about a lottery ticket for a guy on an expiring contract, which sometimes happens. We're talking about getting top 10 players in a team's organization, prospect-wise, for Eugenio Suarez, because he's a guy that, that right now makes a difference in a lot of baseball games. I mean, I didn't know. They almost cut the guy twice last year. I'm serious. Like in the early, he was so bad the first 2 months of the season. They had internal discussions about just waiving him outright. But he got hot, he figured it out, and he's played some great baseball.
Gambo, I know all the attention's been around Suarez, but then the Mariners are sitting here, and they could also use a first baseman. They could use some more pieces as well. Any other names around this Diamondbacks team that seem like they are pretty logical guys that you think, okay, I'd be surprised if they actually are still on the team after the trade deadline?
Yeah, I think everybody's going to want starting pitching, Mike, starting pitching. Now, Zach Allen's got a better pedigree than Merrill Kelly, but Merrill Kelly is phenomenal. I am probably his biggest fan out here. He is such a winner and such a great pitcher that whoever trades for Merrill Kelly, you're getting a guy that you could put into a playoff rotation and he'll be fine. Like that pedigree is incredible. Gallen's had an up and down year. There's been like 5 or 6 like really great games and 5 or 6 really bad games. So it's been tough to figure out Zach Gallen. He's just, this is a contract year for him. Scott Boras is his agent. He probably thought he was going to cash in. We've had him on the show several times and talked about whether that pressure has affected him. He kind of thinks it hasn't. But starting pitching, right? Everybody's going to want starting pitching. So that's where Gallen and Kelly come in. You're looking for a first baseman? Josh Nell's had a great year. He's had a great year. The Diamondbacks let Christian Walker go, rightfully so. They didn't pay him the 3 years and $60 million. They got Naylor. He's on an expiring deal. He's played great. You've got some guys on the bullpen. You might be able to trade Shelby Miller. Probably more of a lottery ticket for Shelby Miller and Randall Grichuk and guys like that. But the prime guys to trade are the 2 starting pitchers, Gallen and Kelly, your first baseman, Josh Naylor, and obviously Eugenio Suarez, who it seems like everybody wants Gino right now.
Non-baseball question. We did this with our guest last hour. You just got back from Germany and Sicily. The single best thing you ate on your vacation?
Oh, man. Okay. All right. So in Austria, they've got this Mozart chocolate in Austria. I was so I went to Sicily, then I went to Germany, then I went to Austria. I was in Hallstatt in Vienna. In Austria, the home of Mozart in Salzburg, they've got this store. They make these original chocolates from Austria, Mozart chocolates. They were pretty damn good. Now, I had some great fish at the lake, when I was in Hallstatt too, and obviously the fish in Sicily is fantastic and things like that. But I'll go with these little chocolates in Salzburg. Were pretty damn good.
Okay. A last thing before one Cardinals question Mike's going to ask you.
You want a Cardinals special? Let's go.
Well, I want to hear more about food. I'm hungry now, so I just need to hear more.
Ask you
I was
about
with
that.
all my family in Sicily, man. I can tell you about those, those home-cooked meals, but you probably wanted something a little different, so I went with the Austria chocolate.
You bring it all, Gambo. It doesn't matter what we throw your way. Help me, last thing, with these Diamondbacks. Just kind of help me understand who Mike Hazen is, right? Just as a GM, so I can try to understand over the next 9-10 days with Jerry and Justin here in Seattle. It seems like it's a good pairing, but help me understand Mike Hazen, the GM, how he goes about these trades, how you think he's going to handle these decisions over the next 10 days.
I think Mike knows that this team, even with the sweep, is really up against it. Like, it's going to be hard to pass 4 teams. Brock, it's not the amount of games they're behind, right? It's not, okay, you're 4.5 games behind, because I think within 5, you're okay. The problem is you have to pass 4 teams. If there was only one team ahead of you, I can make an argument that you could beat out that team. But you've got to beat out 4 teams in order to get into a playoff spot. I think Mike Hazen is a really good GM. I think the type of trade he'd like to make is the trade, like he got Zach Gallen for Jazz Chisholm. So he traded a player that was ready to play in the major leagues for a player that was ready to play in the major leagues, and they've had a great run with Zach Gallen. He had a lot of control. He likes to trade for pitchers with control. Now, it's going to be hard to get AAA pitchers, but I think what he's going to be looking for more than anything is AA starting pitching. So what do you got? Do you have good AA starting pitching? Because that's what they want. They're set at a lot of positions in the field. But with Gallen and Kelly maybe not coming back next year because they're free agents, with Corbin Burns likely out for the season, they need pitchers that are close to ready, and that's what I think he'll go after at the trade deadline.
Well, the Mariners have a handful of those guys, so that's the intrigue there. All right, we'll see.
AA guys that are within a year of being ready, that's going to be what they shoot for, I promise you.
Wow. All right, so I think we'll have to have you back on then when a trade hopefully does happen between these two parties. But yeah, since you're here, Gambo, and since NFL training camps get underway this week, thought we'd pick your brain a little bit on this Cardinals team, get a sense of what's going on around the NFC West. What are the expectations for Jonathan Gannon in year 3 coaching this team?
You know, they finally went out and spent some money on free agency. Monty Ossenfort, terrific general manager, came in here first 2 years, didn't spend wisely, just plugged some holes, but then they go get Josh Sweat, and they go get Dalvin Tomlinson, and they bring in Calais Campbell. So they went out and really addressed their needs on defense in free agency. Then what was crazy, Mike, is they have this draft, and everybody they drafted was a defensive guy except for one, Walter Nolan and Will Johnson and Jordan Birch, who – from Oregon, and Cody Simon and Denzel Burke. Like they really went out and got the defense, jacked up because their defense was not very good. The question really is Kyler Murray ready to finally deliver? Like, Kyler's an okay quarterback. He's decent. He's middle of the pack. But you guys know, like, when you've got that middle of the pack quarterback, and I think Geno Smith was middle of the pack, right? Can you win a Super Bowl with Geno Smith? Can you win a Super Bowl with Jay Cutler? Can you win a Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill? I think Kyler Murray's in that category of being that, he's a middle guy. He's not one of the 10 best quarterbacks, and he's not one of the 10 worst quarterbacks. But I always hate being in the middle because you're really not sure what you have. So I think this is a big year for Kyler Murray.
Hey, last thing for me here, Gambo. Appreciate the time, my friend, especially coming back from vacation. What do those Cardinal fans, what does our sister station think of our beloved Seahawks?
I think we all think that the Rams are the best team and the 49ers are going to take a step back, and then it's really a three-way battle for who's the second best team. Like, I like what Seattle did. I'll never count them out. Every time I count them out, Brock, they win 9 or 10 games, right? I mean, isn't that their pedigree? Like, count Seattle out, they win 9 or 10 games. But I think that we feel like the Rams are the best team in the division, and I really think it's a three-way race for who the second best team is, and I think any one of those teams could take it, the Cardinals, the 49ers, or the Seahawks.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Going to be a fascinating race in the division this year. Very good NFC West, like always, and then the trade deadline looming. Great stuff, Gambo. We appreciate the time, and I'm sure these guys will talk to you again soon.
All right, Mike. Good job. Thanks, Brock. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
All right, Gambo. See you, buddy. Yeah, there he goes.
Bye.
Gambo.
There
I always
is.
love Mozart.
Burns and Gambo. Drive time show at Arizona Sports.
Big fan.
I wanted to hear more about the food,
chocolate.
but I get accused of that all the time. So,
yeah. So what did you hear there? Lyle, you especially. Okay. You were sitting there going, who are you rooting for in this? Does that change your dynamic at all? And who you're rooting for with the Astros and Diamondbacks?
Not really, because, again, if the Diamondbacks rip off 8 of 10 before the deadline, it's going to change their perspective on selling.
Maybe.
It sounds like they're still pretty committed to selling.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
Gambo swayed me a little bit there.
Yes.
It doesn't really matter what their wins do, and it does kind of feel like 2023 Mariners, where
okay, so let's
it felt like they had
one
momentum.
thing that made Lyle say, "Oh, I heard it."
Oh, yeah.
What was that,
it?
Lyle?
Well, he mentioned AA starting pitching is what the Diamondbacks are looking for. That kind of sounds like Durangelo Sanger if the Mariners were going to make that trade.
Yeah, it sounds like some young pitchers the Mariners have. You're right.
Well, what about, even beyond AA? When you talk about control, I mean, it's one thing to want AA pitching. What about having a Logan Evans that's done it at the major league level? What about having an Emerson Hancock that you have seen flashes at the major league level? If they want AA pitching, don't you have even better than that when you're talking about club control for the next 4 or 5 years on a Logan Evans? Wouldn't you think if there is going to be a heated – I mean, would you be willing to do that, Lyle, just point blank? If they said, okay, we got the Cubs, we got the Yankees, we got all these people that want Eugenio Suarez, but you got what we want. We want this Logan Evans cat. Are you willing to trade Logan Evans for 50-something games of Eugenio Suarez?
He's listening, Lyle. They're friends, too. This is going to be tough.
I don't know. Gambo said double-A starting pitching. So I'm just thinking about the minor league guys.
But what if it takes more? I think that's the point, too, is because of all these guys that are going to bid for Geno Suarez's services, if you're Mike Hazen and you can go parlay that and say, look, I'm going to pitch you against them. They're offering 3 minor league prospects. I want a double-A pitcher and a starter. I want a Logan Evans or an Emerson Hancock and a double-A pitcher.
That's not happening for a rental. It's just not.
It might be the cost. That
What
might
about
be
for
the going
2
rate.
rentals? What about, we talked about this for a long time. What about if it's actually for both Naylor and Suarez?
Again, that feels like something that would probably cost somebody like Senja and maybe a couple lottery ticket prospects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does feel
Which,
like
is a lot, but if the Mariners really want to go out and win, at some point you got to push your chips in. And after drafting Kate Anderson, rotational depth in this organization gets deeper and deeper.
That's right. That's right. And Sloan is sitting down there, obviously a ways away. He's not going to be your double-A guy. Is Senja at the double-A level now, or is he still finding himself? I mean, I know it's semantics. He's kind of very, very close. He's down in Everett still, is he not?
Yeah, he's still in Everett, but I can't imagine it's going to be that much longer until he's in Arkansas.
Yeah,
You're
he's
right.
in the
Those
futures
semantics,
game,
yeah.
and he's a first-round pick, and he's a super talented guy. And yeah, I mean, it just these are the conversations that are certainly percolating, and I trust implicitly what Gambo's got to say right there. He is connected to those folks there, and when he says you can trust me on this, they are very much in the sellers market, and it's not because they're just 4.5 back. It's to his point. You've got a bunch of teams ahead of them, not one team to jump. And oh, by the way, do you know who's right ahead of the Diamondbacks? That would be the St. Louis Cardinals, who they just swept. So it's actually 2, 3, the Padres and the Giants. They got a bunch of teams that they're looking up at. And with all these expiring contracts, a veteran GM, I think, is going to be rational and not irrational. And no, he's got to get something back. And I would not be surprised at all if those are ongoing conversations over the next 9 days.
Yeah, it sounds like the division plays a big impact, and maybe that scarring of losing out on that playoff spot with the tie last season. But that's such a tough division in that NL West of, all right, how do you compete with the Dodgers? And the Padres have been slumping, but they're still in that wild card spot. The Giants have really fallen off, but they're right above you as well. So, yeah, long term, you're not looking at just, well, can we limp into the playoffs, which is, at times what people have asked of the Mariners. Hey, just don't get into the playoffs. Go in with a team that can really make some noise, that can win a couple of rounds and be on the precipice of getting to that World Series. So it seems like the Diamondbacks, certainly if they lose a couple to the Astros, are going to be in that, all right, we don't have the team this year. We don't have the bats or the arms to compete with the Cubs and the Brewers or the Dodgers who are going to play in the postseason. So, yeah, we'll see. And you're right, Brock. I think these games leading up to the trade deadline are so consequential, not just for the Mariners, but for teams that might be deciding whether to sell or to buy. Because right now, there's an uncomfortable amount of teams that want to buy. It's not a lot of players, and that's the new nature of the trade deadline. We've seen this with that third wild card. There are not a lot of teams that are just opening up their books and saying, here, come take what we have. This is a giveaway. This is everything's going out of business sale, because they can get such a good price from any number of teams out there. So
here's a couple things a couple things I'm pretty confident, Mike. And just kind of having conversations, I'm pretty confident. And I'll quote the old late great John Clayton: that deadline spur action. Right now, and there are a lot of activity. Right now, the phones are heating up all over baseball, because you do have teams like the Orioles with expiring contracts. You do have teams like the Diamondbacks with expiring contracts. You do have those teams that know that good business is not just running these guys out and getting nothing for them, because there is some hot teams, because the market is pretty hot for these buyers. And as a seller, there may be an opportunity to actually get something that helps you win with club control down the road. So I do know that there's a fair amount of activity. I think for you Mariners, you're going to see a bullpen move today. You're going to get to see, or this series very, very soon, a young guy come up in Garcia, a left-hander that's got some filthy stuff. And I think that'll be kind of the first little foray into some of this activity that they know. They know that this 25-man and 8 when it gets to September, currently on their 40-man, isn't enough. It's not enough. and Cal Raleigh and Julio and Wu and Arozarena and Mooney. And these guys are telling the organization, just give us a little more. And they want to elevate the overall talent on this roster. And what that looks like are some names that we have certainly bantered about, but that also could mean getting creative. That also could mean, as we get close to deadline time, a big swing. So I think everything is on the table. I think the activity is high, and I think they know very well within their building they need to elevate the overall strength of this 25-man roster.
Brock, what about this team right now, as currently constructed, in the 10 games up until the deadline? So the deadline is July 31st. You have 10 games starting tonight until then, and it's not to say that a move might not happen before the actual deadline day. But on this team, this current Mariners lineup or the pitching staff, who are a couple guys or what are a couple things that you're looking forward to seeing in this next stretch?
Yeah, it's obviously it's what Avila said, the old catcher, right, from the MLB Network, talking about your starting pitching. It is George Kirby, who has shown some flashes 3 of his last 4 starts of being George Kirby. It's Logan Gilbert, who showed before a rain delay, kind of for the first time since coming back, like, oh, that's him. You know, that the kids like to say he's him. That was him in those 4 innings in New York before the rain delay. So, yeah, and hopefully Luis to wrap a series up. Like, you get your elite pitching because this team is built on pitching. And along those lines, I won't diminish what Churchill and Shannon Drayer said last Monday. Hey, man, bolster your strength. If there's an opportunity to get a Merrill Kelly, I love what Gambo said. That dude's a winner. Mm-hmm. He's a winner. And we don't know about Bryce still. And Logan Evans going to be on a pitch restriction. And you get Merrill Kelly thrown into a deal with Arizona. If it's maybe too rich to throw Senja for a round, all right, then, let's find a way to make this. And let's find a way to add another veteran arm. And maybe you have to add. If there's one thing that came out of this Astros series in a great series win, Lefko, you have to add another leverage arm in this bullpen. Right? The Vargas, the Legumina, the bottom end of that is not good enough. Not good enough, especially when you get into the playoff kind of run. You need another leveraged arm with Mooney and Spire and Brash, and especially Brash coming off the injury, and even Spire banged up a year ago. So, yeah, man, so much activity over the next couple days and 10 days and training camp. This is it's a good time for you to fill in, Mr. Lefko.
It's going to be exciting. It really is. And, yeah, you can never have enough relief pitching or starting pitching. As we know, the Mariners, they always say that, and it comes true year in and year out. You can never have enough pitching because of the fickle nature of health of these guys. And with the way the Mariners play, a lot of close games, especially down the stretch or in the playoffs, you go to your bullpen at the slightest sign of trouble from your starter. So to have guys in there, it's huge.
Yep. By the way, Mike, this is also a manager going through this for a season for the first time. I know Danny's been around the block a long time, but there is no substitute. Joe Buck said that last week, for experience. And you know what I want to give Dan Wilson and Manny Acta and everybody else in that dugout? Another leverage arm to go to, right? Just another weapon in that bullpen to that can be a difference maker in that market. Maybe unlike the third base market or the bat market, that relief market, there is arms. There are numbers. There are opportunities to add to it.
Well, you know what? I think a guy who had some good insight on this can join us tomorrow. Your guy, Jeffrey Passan?
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh, yes.
Coming on tomorrow? All right, we'll get Passan's thoughts on this. He just put out an article kind of outlining the top prospects that are available, or the top players available at the trade deadline. A lot of familiar names, but it'll be good to get to that with Jeff Passan tomorrow. Brock, day 1 in the books here. We survived. I'm terrified of what's next because I know what's coming for you at some point before this stretch ends.
I know.
We'll get to it. We got 2 more days. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks to Brady Henderson. Thanks to Gambo for joining us. A lot of good stuff from them. Seahawks training camp in a couple of days. Big Mariners series starting tonight. A lot going on there, Brock. It's going to be a good time to talk sports.
Good job, Mikey, by the way. Good job. Smooth today.
Yeah.
You're on the clock, too. You do a great job.
Are you going to say what you say to end it? Or is that me? What do I say here?
You say,
I say Bumpin' Stacy's up next. And then you yell your thing. So.
No, you say, and for today, the hay.
The hay?
In the barn!
All right, that'll do it. Rob and Stacy up next here on Seattle Sports.
In the barn!
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
When the heat's in 11,
cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net. Some AC you'll be loving
When your house is an oven.
dayandnight.net.
Northwest summers are beautiful, but there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Don't sweat through another summer. Have Day and Night keep your house cool and comfortable by installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
When the summer is cooking,
We're the place to be looking.
dayandnight.net.
Stay cool this summer with Day and Night. Call now to get 10% off an air conditioner or heat pump. Plus, no payments or interest for a year OAC. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
dayandnight.net.
Hey golf fans, Jordan Babineau here. Get ready for an unforgettable weekend at the 2025 Boeing Classic. Come see Masters champions and Hall of Fame golfers battle it out at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge, August 8th through the 10th. Bring the whole family and check out Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Plus, celebrate 20 years of the Boeing Classic, supporting the Benaroya Research Institute at Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. It's more than just golf. It's an experience you won't want to miss. August 8th through the 10th. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BlowingClassic.com for more.
Does your building company have a strong website? One with a solid organic search presence, engaging prospects, and filling your pipeline? You know, a site that speaks loud about your company. I'm Rusty George. My local agency specializes in creating websites and marketing strategies for building companies, including construction, manufacturing, and material suppliers. We develop strategies and tactics to attract and win more quality business. See how we can help your business get louder at rustygeorge.com. That's rustygeorge.com.
The biggest scuba sale in America starts Thursday at Underwater Sports in North Seattle. Clearance prices on masks, regulators, computers, fins, tanks, BCs, free photo and video seminars, free fitting and incredible savings on a custom-fit dry suit. Big savings on beginner, advanced, and specialty classes. Underwater Sports' 47th Annual Divers Fair starts this Thursday at the North Seattle Underwater Sports Store, 107th and Aurora Avenue North. Don't miss the biggest scuba sale in America.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple and